I am Nando.
And I am DJ.
And howdy, y'all, I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Miss Minutes.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Who let you on the podcast?
It's the hot new thing this year.
Miss Minutes.
Southern, like, lady voices and stuff. Are there any others? Just those two, really? I can't think of another one. We haven't seen Wonka yet. Maybe that's somebody in Wonka.
Is there anyone in The Bear who has a southern accent?
Nah, they're really mostly Chicago people.
That's what happens when you put your show in Chicago.
Yeah, it's not like
Makes
Mighty
sense.
Ducks where they draft a character from each like stereotypical part of America, including one cowboy guy or something. It's more local than that. But yeah, I don't know about Wonka. And nobody in Marvels. So yeah, probably these are the only two Southern things. But we're covering both of them. We already got Loki season 2 out of the way, and now we're going to be talking about Hunger Games: the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or something.
That's correct.
It didn't get like an origins; it just went straight to Hunger Games. Great. Was the first one just the Hunger Games, or did they do a saga thing? I can't remember.
No, the first one was just the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Yeah.
They love to shift gears, second and third movie, and make a weird little naming convention. But before that, you guys, so much news to cover, but one news that's important. So I'm going to fly through. I'm sure you guys saw Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor, probably unofficially, but
I saw all your videos. Just
it's
an
a busy
incredible
week.
amount.
He's a pretty interesting little guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's cool.
What's your favorite Nicholas Holt movie or show?
Is there a show? Is there a show?
Hold on. Is the question, what is my favorite Nicholas Holt performance, or
Yeah.
my favorite thing that has Nicholas Holt in it?
Nicholas Holt performance. And for shows, the only show he was in a bunch of shows in England, I believe, but I would say the show he's most known for is The Great, that Catherine the Great show. He's the main character in. Character.
Is he? I was gonna say he's not the main character. He's her husband, right?
Yeah, but I would say like they're pretty much co-leads in it. And he also plays his body double, so he gets a lot of screen time in it. He's good. It's a good role.
Nice.
But what's your favorite, DJ?
Is it the main character from Warm Bodies? I like that. It's fun.
He was in that.
Yeah.
That was one of those movies, that was like a little bit of Twilight, but not quite.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember really liking that movie.
I kind of remember liking it too. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't thought about it for a while, but
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it had John Malkovich in it. That's right. And Dave Franco. What about you, Diggins? What's your favorite Nicholas Holt performance?
I mean, me being who I am, I feel like I have to say Nux from Fury Road.
I mean,
It's true.
you could. He's quite good in that, but if you had said something else, I would understand. You loved him in X-Men Apocalypse, probably, right?
Yeah,
The best one of those.
I love those X-Men movies so much.
Yeah, he's your favorite beast. You told us that last week. You were like, get this old man, this 90, 70, whatever we decided Kelsey Grammer was your old man out of my face. I want my young Nicholas Holt beast.
Go back to your Frasier reboot on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Frasier now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This joke is especially baffling to me because I don't even particularly dislike those movies. I don't think about them much at all.
Yeah, he's pretty good in them, honestly. I like him in those. I don't think he's a great beast or anything, but he's fun to watch. I'm trying to think of what the worst movie he's in is.
Oh, this is good. Worst movie.
I mean, you already said X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, right. It's probably that. And he's going to be in Garfield, so we'll see.
Is he in The Favorite?
Yeah, he is in The Favorite. He's good in The Favorite.
He's the opposition leader.
Yeah. And he's
worst Nicholas Holt.
Jack and the Giant Slayer. Never saw that. Didn't hear amazing things. We should do that one of these days. I'm going to say that he's in The Weatherman. Is he the kid?
Oh my God, is he?
I don't know. Yeah, it seems like he is.
The Nick Cage movie, The Weatherman?
That's right. Yeah. 2005's The Weatherman.
Wow.
Starring Michael Caine. Yeah, and he was like a kid actor too, because he was in About a Boy.
Yeah.
I guess I was wrong. I guess he did like some stuff that was British. Oh, I know what I was thinking of. He was on a show called Skins. This is what he's very well known for. People that like that. I think that's kind of a teen, like an OC kind of show in England. Everybody can correct me because I'm sure people know this.
Well, wait, hold on, Nando. As the expert, would you say that Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix is a worse movie?
Apocalypse is a worse movie.
Really?
Dark Phoenix is pointless in like a kind of way that you wouldn't have strong feelings about it, but like it's not terrible. It's just kind of okay. Whereas I think Apocalypse is bad and also just super dull. Like I think, and it also, I don't know. It's like I don't think any of those movies have a worse moment than like all that stuff that Oscar Isaac's doing when they go to the concentration camp to, you know, in their little superhero outfits to teach Magneto a lesson. Like that's pretty bad. Yeah, but Dark Phoenix is okay.
You know, it's funny. Dark Phoenix is the lowest rated movie on IMDb that he's done.
I think that's fair.
That and some movie called Collide. How far would you go for the one you love?
Probably not all that far, if I'm being honest.
I don't know if I'd collide with anything. If there's a collision involved, I wouldn't be thrilled.
An American backpacker gets involved with a ring of drug smugglers as their driver, though he winds up on the run from his employers across Cologne high-speed Autobahn.
Oh, could be good.
Went to this movie, even though I already told you the IMDb summary. You guys would forget.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've already forgotten.
Nice.
I will say it's interesting because he was in Renfield this year, and I don't know if you guys saw, he's in a Nosferatu movie next year as Thomas Hutter.
Oh, that's the main character.
Yeah, it's starring Bill Skarsgård is Count Orlok, so could be fun. Yeah. It's by Robert Eggers. Oh, this might be something.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually interested now.
Yeah, this could be cool. It's got what's her name? Who's that? Oh no, it's got Willem Dafoe. Obviously, that's the rules. Lily Rose Depp, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Craven's Own, and Emma Corrin from Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, I think, or something. I don't know. I might be wrong about that. I am. It's The Crown. There's so many shows these days, you guys.
There's some other thing about royals.
Yeah. Inbreeding and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think what's his name is on both of them, right?
Where the ghost of a dead princess shows up to tell everyone how cool they are.
Which show does that happen in?
Happens in The Crown, actually.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, that's pretty cool that they do that. Makes me want to watch it. I know people kind of hate it, but apparently the season's not very good.
Well, Nando, which princess do you think the ghost of shows up?
I mean, part of me wants to say Diana, but I don't think she's dead in the show yet, or is she?
I think this season is that, right?
Oh, okay. So this season is like that movie, The Queen, where it's like what happens after Diana, but
I guess.
I don't know. Yeah.
I've never watched The Crown. I just heard about that happening. It was like, that's like the dumbest idea of all time.
It's not of all time.
Yeah. I mean, the dumbest idea of all time, maybe the other news, the news that I'm speeding through, because there was a bunch of like little casting things too. Like they cast the guy from Santa Clarita Diet as Jimmy Olsen. Cast an actor who I wasn't too familiar with to play the engineer in the Superman movie and whatever. Pedro Pascal's probably Mr. Fantastic, although that hasn't been confirmed yet. That's kind of interesting. Cillian Murphy might be Dr. Doom, although he hasn't agreed yet, so we'll see about that. But
he's got Kill right in his name.
He does. That's true. They could change it to Dr. Kill. Remember in the other one, we did Fantastic, right? At some point.
Yeah,
you guys did. I wasn't.
Yeah, that's right.
They changed Dr. Doom's name to Dr. Van Dam because that's what it is in the Ultimate Comics. And then everybody in test screenings was like, this is pretty stupid. So then they never said his name on screen. And then they only say Dr. Doom. He's Mr. Doom off screen a bunch. So they just ADR'd him a different name.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
That's cool.
But I wanted to talk about this week's news is you guys know the wonderful streaming service. We have so many. We've already named one or two. Max.
I love Max.
You guys big fans of Max?
Max is so good because they have such a wide and varied selection of the deep bench of Warner Brothers properties. That's right. Their number one strength.
And the bench is getting, I don't know, deeper. Like not like a bench would get deeper, but like a hole that you would bury someone in would get deeper. As
some kind of sinkhole like that.
Yeah, like what do you call that? Like a grave plot? Is that what it is? Like what's the hole itself? Grave hole? That can't be it.
I think it's just a grave.
It's just a grave. Yeah.
It's a kind of a synecdoche.
Would you say Max is in a grave situation?
Perhaps. Well, I mean, that depends on how you feel about certain movies and shows, but Warner Brothers released their list of all the shows that are coming out in December and all the things that are like, you know, lots of great stuff. Like, for instance, I'm looking at this list. It's pretty tough. Skyfall, they got that. Semi-Pro.
That's good.
You know, Red Dawn, the original one. All the great stuff. The World Is Not Enough. A lot of James Bond movies. Paranormal Activities. Wow. Jurassic World. Nobody likes that. Die Another Day. James Bond. Color Purple. Just the time for the new one. 2 Bill and Ted movies. You know, all the movies you expect.
Yeah, all my favorites.
But when they send out that list, they also, at the very bottom of the page, send out the titles leaving Max in December list. And it's a lot of movies. Some that, you know, people might like, some that people might not. But I just want to go through some of the highlights of that list.
Okay.
Have either of you seen the list yet?
No.
I have, but I will pretend that I haven't.
Okay. So I'm going to go through the list is organized by date, although December 31st is when a lot of them come out or like get dropped. So it'll be clustered there, but so in no particular order besides that this is the like December 9th, say We Lose Nightcrawler 2014. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. I love that one.
Better watch it. You guys got a couple days. I'll save this one for later. December 21st, Spotlight. Let's hope everybody got all the Spotlight in. December 26th, Man from U.N.C.L.E., one of those movies that nobody watched, but everybody's like, it's pretty good.
Okay,
it is. I like that movie.
People say that's a good Henry Cavill movie.
It is. I would say it's his best. Yeah, I would say it's probably his best individual role. But it's just because it lets him be even marginally charming, as opposed to like The Witcher or Superman, where he is like stoic and boring.
Right.
But then you hit December 31st, which is when all of it goes. So I'm just running through some of these pretty quickly. You got American Ultra, speaking of Max Landis, that one movie where Jesse Eisenberg is secretly a spy.
I've seen that movie. It's not very good.
I don't hate it, but yeah, it definitely isn't incredible. It especially doesn't end well, but it just keeps going. We've got a movie called The Bachelor from 1999, but that can't be related to the show. Speaking of 1966, you got Batman. Remember that? Remember that show? Where Batman was like Adam West?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a shame. That's leaving.
Yep. Hope everybody's got their fill of Batman. Before Midnight, I don't know if the rest of those movies are also going or it's just that one. So, just get that one in and then you watch the other ones afterwards. Let's see. Blade Runner 2049, pretty good movie.
Oh,
gone. Book of Life, I never saw that. People seem to like it.
I have a lot of affection for that movie, even though I acknowledge it has a lot of problems.
You're talking about Book of Life?
That's the animated one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the one with Channing Tatum?
That's right.
Yeah.
Gambit from the X-Men movies, allegedly. Gambit from that script that's on the internet. What else we got? The Circle, that movie where Tom Hanks is Mark Zuckerberg, but he's evil. Speaking of movies where people use drones as a weapon.
Wait, what do you mean? But he's evil.
But he's
Mark Zuckerberg.
But he's evil in like an effective, like evil way. But he's evil. But he pretends to be nice. However, he is evil. I'd say that's the biggest difference.
Okay, I understand.
We're losing both. Oh no, all 3 Crocodile Dundee movies.
No,
they made 3 of them. Yep.
That's not a knife.
And they're all gone. That is, well, now we'll never know if it was or wasn't a knife. Curse of La Llorona, which is a movie that just came out with a sequel, I think. The Dennis the Menace movie, which I remember seeing as a kid and being like, this is great. Yeah, it's probably not very good, but I remember liking it. Dude, Where's My Car? Another movie that's not good about thinking about it fondly. Elf. Remember Elf?
I do remember Elf.
Yeah, well, you better remember it because it's gone or will be gone. Speaking of things that will be gone, Final Destinations 1, 2, 3, 5, and The Final Destination, which was 4, I believe. Okay. I don't know if there was one before that or one since then, because I do think 2011 feels like Like, I think there's been one more, but I could be wrong. I love the Final Destination movies. Very upset about this one.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. A lot of Christmas movies, so that one kind of makes sense. I guess they like rent the Christmas movies from all these other people for like a month. I don't know. Actually, some of these this is a very sparse part of the list. Oh, Insidious Chapter 2, not Chapter 1, but I don't even know if that one's still there. Original Jumanji, 1995.
The only good one.
That's right. What about Zathura? That's a good Jumanji, maybe. No one's seen it.
I mean, it's not an official Jumanji. It's just a spiritual Jumanji.
Yeah.
Jumanji's pretty spiritual, right? That's kind of the idea.
It's true. Jumanji is.
Yeah.
Jumanji's not religious. It's spiritual.
It's,
You know?
it's all a metaphor for God, like a VeggieTales movie.
That's right.
Obviously.
You got the Lego movie, 2014's Lego movie. That's kind of popular. People like that.
Well, I love that movie.
Had Batman in it, so kind of figured maybe Warner Brothers would value it, but also Warner Brothers got rid of the Batman TV show, so what do they know? These things are popular, but Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes show, and the movie Looney Tunes Back in Action, they're all gone.
Every single Looney Tunes thing?
Seems like it. I mean, I feel like maybe Lunatics Unleashed is still there. That one where they're all superheroes.
God, I hope that they have left behind Lunatics Unleashed.
Yeah.
That would just make this perfect.
There's definitely still space for it. Especially, I feel like, because there won't be any of this, but I assume they're still going to put out that Coyote, like they're still going to let people, rent it or whatever, like license it.
They are letting someone else like distribute it,
right? That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
How
but
nice of them.
You do figure they would want that would make people watch these, so these would be valuable to them. But maybe they were like, the people don't care about old Looney Tunes; they want their superhero Looney Tunes. So we're just gonna.
So we've got to keep Lunatics,
trimming all the fat. Yeah, but we're keeping Lunatics. That's pretty good. We got The Master. That's a good movie. A little weird, but a good one.
Well, obviously the Scientologists told them they have to get rid of that one.
That's true. That's a good point. Speaking of Scientologists, Paddington 2. Paddington. Yeah. As far as I know, not a Scientologist, but maybe.
Yeah, when he moves to Hollywood, he falls in.
Yeah, I mean, they're making a third one, so there's plenty of time. Phantom of the Opera, the bad one that everyone hates because Gerard Butler's in it or something. I don't know. I've never seen it. Maybe people like it.
I'm sure some people like it. Everything I hear is that it's not very good.
Yeah, I hear musical people don't seem to love it, but maybe they do. Maybe they secretly do.
It's
okay. You got Scooby-Doo, the movie. Remember that? The one where they have different sodas depending on which one you watch? I don't remember if that was the first or second one.
That was the second one.
That was the second one? Okay. So that one seems to be safe, but Scooby-Doo 1, no thank you.
The one where Scooby-Doo pisses, or not, Scrappy-Doo pisses on Daphne?
Yes, that's right. And Scooby-Doo, The Sword and the Scoob from 2021, which I assume is some sort of animated thing. I know there's like
a ton of those animated movies.
Yeah, I don't know why this one specifically drew the ire of David Zaslav, but I imagine this means the other ones are still around. Speaking of things that drew the ire of people, the first 3 Scream movies are no longer there.
These are all leaving at the end of the year?
Yep.
It's such a list.
I know. Son of the Mask. Anyone ever seen that? Speaking of Loki.
Really bad one with Jamie Kennedy?
Yeah, it's a really bad one with Jamie Kennedy and the baby that's like a little plastic monster. Step Up All In and Step Up Revolution, but not Step Up to the Streets. So again, there's a little bit more of that left. Let's see. We're almost done because we're in the teas. Tom and Jerry the movie, but not the new one, some older one. I don't know.
The one from the 90s where they talk and sing?
I guess so. Yeah, it's 1993, so that sounds right.
Gross.
I think that's the one from the 90s where they talk and sing. That one's so weird.
Gross.
It's a bummer. Speaking of Warm Bodies, the movie Warm Bodies from 2013, gone. So, trying to bury Nicholas Holt's greatest role. And Winter's Tale, one of the worst movies ever made. Not really. I don't know. I watched it. It's pretty weird. And White Chicks, one of the best movies ever made. Both of them are gone. Listen, White Chicks is pretty funny. Like, it's not, but it's so weird. It's like Terry Crews was good in it. I skipped one movie, you guys.
Did you?
That will be taken off. This one was in the list before because it's going to leave on December 15th. But I imagine this is a slight directly at us because we've said some things about HBO Max, David Zaslav, all that. They've been less than flattering. So they are going to remove 2015's Entourage. Just the movie, not the show, but the movie.
Finally, a good decision.
Yeah, so it's by then, that's like 2 weeks, I guess. So there's a chance it'll still be around if somebody wins the eliminator pool, but I don't know.
I don't know if it's gone from HBO Max. We can't do it legally.
I mean, we could do it. We just probably have to rent it from like YouTube or Amazon or something. You know,
once it's gone from HBO Max, it's been scrubbed from existence. It's like it was never made. We can't do it anymore.
I don't know. I think we can. We'll have to see. That's up to David, I guess, and his, what he wants. But I don't know. Why do you think they got rid of Entourage movie? Because it was too much like what Hollywood's really like.
It's Diggins. I mean, Nando, the answer's right in front of you. Diggins managed to indenture himself to David Zaslav in a way that would basically, it would pay off for him. Diggins promised him a very complicated tax write-off.
Guys, it's obviously because the white-hot star power of Ronda Rousey was too much for a Max to handle.
That's true. Well, do you think we can get, what's his name? Do you think Mark Wahlberg, friend of the show, Mark Wahlberg, can get involved? Because not only does he produce Entourage, he has a cameo in the Entourage movie.
That's true.
Along with his friends that are his real entourage. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think he'd help us.
If anybody could do it, it would be him. Yeah. And, it's like, I imagine he loves Entourage because it reminds him of the time when he was young and cool and the hot new thing in Hollywood, as opposed to now when he's like, I don't know, what's he up to? Transformers, Father Stu and stuff?
He's making, I don't know if you guys got this trailer before this movie, but he's making the intersection of all of the movies I think look terrible just by virtue of what they are. He's making a based on a true story sports dog movie.
What?
No, I did not see this.
It's like King Arthur or Hail to the King or something like that. It's about
wait, is that the Golden Boy? No. Huh.
It's about they're like doing some like huge triathlon, like multi-day, hundreds of miles across the Dominican Republic or something.
And
a little dog like follows them and helps them, inspirationally helps them do good at the thing.
Oh man, this looks great. It's got Simu Liu in it. I hope. Otherwise, this photo is just one of the photos. No, yeah, he's in it. Okay.
He is in it.
Good for him. It's, so I was confused because if you go to Mark Wahlberg's IMDb page, producer comes up before actor, which, interesting. I don't know who gets to pick that. He produced fewer things than he's acted in, but for some reason, producer comes first. It looks like it's the same dog from, whatchamacallit, from Strays. I wonder if they have like, this is a famous Hollywood dog. Strays was probably like 4 dogs too that were that one dog. So,
yeah, it's like
that's how they do that.
It's like when there's a baby.
Yeah.
There's really like 7 babies.
Or
it was babies? A doll, like an American Sniper.
That's right. Yeah. That's why you get 7 babies. It's because the two babies canceled on him and then they had to get the doll, I believe is the story.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Were there any babies in this movie?
I don't think so. No.
Not on screen.
Yeah, that's true. There were probably some babies somewhere in like Pan Am or whatever. Just being nurtured or running around.
Or eaten.
There's like or eaten. That's true. There's like a cutoff limit on being in the Hunger Games, right? Like if you be like 12 or over or something like that.
Or is it an upper limit? What should on a child? The Hunger Games is only valuable for child murder.
Right.
I know in the original series timeline, by then it is 12 to 18.
Yeah. Oh, you think like yeah.
I feel like one of the kids in this movie might be younger than that. So that might have been a more recent rule.
That'd be so funny though if like Hunger Games 1 they just accidentally drew a couple of toddlers and they were like, this is what we meant to do, and then they changed it in the future. Peter Dinklage was like, oh, no more toddlers, please, or whatever. You guys, speaking of Peter Dinklage, we got to talk about the movie that Peter Dinklage is in this week.
What? That's true. He is in it. I saw him. He is in it.
Barely. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The big hot movie of 2023,
23.
Whatever year it is. Yeah. It feels like it might have been 2013 when you really get down to it, but no, this was this year. This was a November release. Directed by the guy that directed the old ones, starring
except for the first one.
Or except for the first one, that's right. starring mostly Rachel Zegler and some other guy whose name I don't know, but is probably famous from some show.
Something.
Tom Waits.
That's it.
Tom Sizemore. Tom Selleck. A lot of old Toms.
You already nailed
Tom
it.
Selleck.
And it's Tom Selleck.
You couldn't
That's
tell
why
from his
that's
mustache.
Yeah, it was the saddest scene where they shaved his head and then his little mustache. That's how you know that things are really turning around for him. Tom Blythe, is that it? I think that's it.
Tom Blythe. That's
Yeah.
it.
There it is.
But yeah, so those two are in it. There's other people, but those are them. Well, I guess Peter Dinklage and Viola Davis are the other two that people would recognize. And yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. We watched 4 movies to prepare for this movie.
Oh,
Isn't it all worth it?
Well, worth it in the sense of it's cool we saw those other movies, I guess.
Yeah, we like most of them.
Yeah.
So there's that. But DJ, as the IMDb's man, because you knows things about the Final Fantasy game or something.
Well, you still holding on to that one, eh? Still,
Yeah,
still a
I'm
little
never gonna forgive Diggins for that one. But
Never gonna forgive Diggins for picking the only interesting piece of trivia about that entire movie.
But yeah, this one is all on you, DJ. So
all right.
Very excited for this.
So we play the IMDb B as in spelling bee. Two of our intrepid hosts have to guess the IMDb summary for a certain movie. This week, I am the IMDb keeper, as I will be judging your two's guess for the summary. And I know some of you are wondering, hey, how do they come up with these summaries? Well, it's actually very interesting. Hundreds of years ago, we'll go with hundreds. Hundreds of years ago, in a faraway land, there was a revolution where the masses were tired of being treated unfairly and like, hey, you know what we need, as the Beatles say you want a revolution. So a lot of the people revolt against the government, and the government wins because the government's so good. And as penance for causing the rebellion, every year each of the 12 districts that rebelled previously, they have to write these summaries for movies that have come out over the past year. But then the 13th district, they have to write summaries for movies that go even farther back. And then the district that writes the best summary for the movie, they get a lot of food as to not go hungry. So they're called the Hunger Games summaries.
Oh,
that's like
wow.
That's why
like
they're
the
called
movie.
that. Yeah,
that's something like that, right? I think. So
that means DJ, whichever one of us gets it right, gets food, or does the food go to the person who wrote the summary originally?
I'll send you guys like a DoorDash coupon or something.
Oh, that'd be terrific.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Well,
if it's another highway robbery or whatever like it was last week, then no thanks to you.
We'll see. So I have the summary here written by District 7, I think, wrote this one because this one just came out, so they didn't have to go back and do like an old one. So I think this is a District 7 one. And I'll say this: I think that they deserve some food, but not a lot of food, because this summary is just okay. It's fine. Like it's short. It's not inaccurate, but it doesn't really describe the movie. So I hope that's enough. Emphasis on short, by the way. It's a pretty short summary. They were working on this one quick. So I will give that to you. And Nando, I think you get to go first.
I will elect for Diggins to go first as my as the whatever challenger.
As the loser.
Yeah.
As the person who lost completely fairly and squarely last week.
Squarely for sure. I don't know about fairly. I haven't heard too much from the people about the travesty that was last week, but
yeah,
I'm sure
everyone just heard it and was immediately like, well, that makes perfect sense. That was completely above board and fine, and so there's nothing to say about it.
I think they want to maintain. They don't want to get punished by the government of mostly nitpicking, so they're probably like singing little songs about it right now in hiding. But maybe in a while it will bubble over, and then there will be justice.
You mean in a big old barn where all of the cops go when they're not cops?
Mm-hmm. That's a cool place. But yeah, so you're up, Diggins. What do you got for this one?
Okay. I'm gonna say, when a young Coriolanus Snow is unwillingly paired with a with the District 12 tribute Lucy Gray Baird in the 10th annual Hunger Games, he must risk everything in order to make sure that she survives.
Okay.
Nando?
Yeah, mine's kind of similar. I wrote this down, which every time I do that, I lose, but I'm going to do it anyway. I have young mentor Coriolanus Snow must work with District 12 tribute Lucy Gray and help her survive the 10th annual Hunger Games.
It's really close. Let me say this: you both did well.
Okay.
You both did well.
Yeah.
It's really close, but Nando wins by like a hair. By like a hair.
Now the
like
true
one
highway
word.
robbery has begun.
No. This is fair. Much like the result of this year's Hunger Games, there's no cheating involved. Or much like the Hunger Games, everybody constantly cheats. So why not even, why not let your guy cheat? It's fine.
Let me explain. Diggins, I think you had too many extraneous details. And Nando had one keyword that you didn't. He said the word mentor, which is in here. So I think that was key. So
it sounds like DJ's engaging in this podcast's favorite pastime, nitpicking.
I had to. You guys both did so well. Here, let me read it. Coriolanus Snow mentors and develops feelings for the female District 12 tribute during the 10th Hunger Games.
I wasn't sure if I should put the feelings. I thought about that, but part of me was like, nah.
Also, that explains like a quarter of this movie.
I'd say like 2/3.
Yeah, I feel like not getting into
explicitly, by the way the movie orders itself, 2/3.
Oh, all right, fine.
I do feel like maybe I'm surprised they didn't use her first name or her full name, which was a big part of it. But they love Coriolanus, and gotta say that can get their money's worth.
I gotta say, real quick tangent here. I'm pretty sure the movie is suggesting, never outright says, but that her first name is Lucy Gray, right?
Yeah,
I think that
right. Sounds right.
Okay, I've known people with a first name that was 2 words before, so that makes sense to me.
I don't remember, but I do think at least at one. Yeah, because we hear Lucy Gray Baird, right? That's her full name at some point. But yeah, that's right.
But then one point, someone calls her Lucy, and she's like Lucy Gray.
Yeah, that's right.
Put some respect on that name.
But Diggins, as the loser,
some people dispute that term. Actually, some people say that
second winner.
Cheated party, the victim of a robbery, some people say.
Yeah, I mean, as that, whatever that is, whoever helps you sleep at night. You get to tell us what happened in this movie, which is really helpful because I saw it like a week and a half ago, and there's a lot I don't remember. I was worried about this on my way home to this.
For once, I also saw it about a week ago.
Oh no!
We'll see what I can do.
Yeah,
I believe
all right.
You.
So we start out in the grim darkness of the future. There is only war. The capital is like a desolate wasteland where things are being bombed, and a little baby President Snow and his little baby cousin Tigress see another man chopping up a human body to eat it. It's pretty grim.
Nom nom nom.
But then they go back to their home with their grandmama or grandmam, I think they call her. And their grandmam is like, "Your dad died in the war. I'm sorry, little children." Then we go to 10 years later when he's a grown boy, and he's like, "Oh, we don't have money, but we will soon have money because I'm going to win the big money prize for being the best student." And everyone and his grandma and his cousin Tigress are very excited about that. So he goes to school where he pretends that he's still rich. And all the other students are like, "Oh, I love being a rich capital boy." And they make fun of Sejanus Plinth, Corio's best friend, because he used to live in the districts, but his dad got so rich that they were allowed to move to the capital. And they're like, "Oh, he's still a worthless provincial." But anyway, they have their graduation ceremony where they expect the Plinth Prize will be announced. Graduation / announcement of the 10th annual Hunger Games. But oh no, there's a surprise for the game master, who's, I forget her character's name, but it's Viola Davis.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Dr. Hold on, I have it here. Dr. Gall.
Yes, Dr. Gall. That's it. Dr. Gall comes up and she's a weirdo little freak. And she's like, Hunger Games, I love them. Also, we've decided a new system. Instead of a plinth prize where one of you gets a bunch of money, we're still having it actually, but there's a final part. Instead of just being a good student boy, you also are going to mentor one of the tributes, and whoever does the best job of mentoring their tribute, you win. And one person's like, so that means if our tribute wins, we win, right? And they're like, no, that's not the point. It's about putting on a good show. Anyway, we also find out that the dean of the school, Dean Highsmith, who is Peter Dinklage, hates Coriolanus for reasons that will not be explained until the end of the movie. Besides the fact that he can tell that Coriolanus is a little shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they all get paired with different tributes, and probably because Dean Highsmith hates him, Coriolanus gets paired up with the final tribute drawn from District 12, Lucy Gray Baird. District 12, much like it is 65 years later, or 64, I guess is when the next one starts, is one of the poorest districts. They're all malnourished and weak little boys and girls who will never win. So it's basically a death sentence. But Lucy Gray Baird looks like a Disney princess and talks like Forrest Gump. And she puts a snake in the mayor's daughter's dress because the mayor's daughter arranged for her to get picked because they're in a love triangle. That doesn't really come up too much after this. Anyway, so she's all feisty. She sings a little song to make everyone feel sad for her. And she captures a lot of attention. And Coriolanus is like, and the gears start spinning his head. So he goes and meets with her when she first gets off the train, because in this 10th annual Hunger Games, a lot of the things that define the Hunger Games as we know them haven't happened yet. There's very little spectacle or pageantry. It's pretty much just they stick the kids on a train, dump them in a zoo, and then dump them in an arena where they have to fight to the death. It is televised, but they don't put a lot of effort into making it fun to watch.
And Diggins, that's why the ratings are down. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yes.
Not the ratings.
They're actually, we hear chatter that the Hunger Games might be getting canceled because the ratings are down, and also the ratings are down because everyone's like, this is kind of grim and like hard to watch, and like I don't know why we keep doing it. But so part of their goal is to make it so the ratings go up so that the Hunger Games keep happening. But Coriolanus' friend Sejanus isn't about that. He thinks the Hunger Games should stop. And Coriolanus acts like he also wants that, but he thinks just working inside the system is better. Does he really feel that way? Welcome to the whole point of the movie, my friends. Anyway, he meets up with her ahead of time, unlike every other mentor. He gets dumped to the zoo with them. They do a television interview where she seems really cool and sympathetic, and people start getting interested in her. And he's like, of course, this is how you do it. So Dr. Gall, after calling him out in class, gives him 1 day to write up a proposal for how he would make the Hunger Games cooler and more interesting. Although his one classmate is like, we always work together, and I also want to impress you. So she says she'll help him. He talks more with Lucy Gray that night. He sneaks her some food, and he's like, we got to work together to make sure you live. And she's like, okay. Anyway, next day, he's called in to Dr. Gall's lab after he's handed in his report. And she's like, that report was pretty good. Which one of you wrote it? And his classmate's like, I did it. And Dr. Gall's like, cool. I threw it in my tank of extremely deadly snakes who won't attack you if they recognize your smell. So if you wrote it, then get it, coward. And foolishly, instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I lied, I wanted your respect, she actually does it. It gets bit by a snake and maybe dies. We never see her again.
What? Yeah, we'll get to it. Fucking why?
Because she's Joker-fied.
Oh no, why would the girl put her fucking hand in the tank?
Because you don't want to admit you lied. Maybe she's lying about the smell thing. You got to risk it for the biscuit.
I guess.
Anyway, so Dr. Gall is like, I like all your suggestions. We're going to do them. And it turns out a lot of his suggestions were things we're familiar with, like the donation system and like having a little show ahead of time where everybody shows off their like talks to the public and are like, here's why you should love and support me. And Coriolanus really wants Lucy Gray to sing, but she's ambivalent about it. Anyway, they tour the arena, which instead of being a huge technological superdome that they like change things about, is really just an arena. Just a big old arena with a pile of weapons in the center where everyone has to run to and then kill each other. It's also part of why the ratings are down. Apparently, they all end pretty quickly. But while they're there, the place explodes. Some rebels snuck in and set up bombs.
Oh no.
Kills some of the tributes, critically injures the president's son, who is one of Corio's classmates. And he gets trapped, but Lucy Gray, instead of escaping, comes back and rescues him. So while he's recovering in the hospital, she does her interview where she does sing. Whoa. But Dr. Gall is like, we're still doing a Hunger Games tomorrow, even though the place blew up. And so Corio's like, I can't let her die because I care about her, maybe. Or maybe I just really want that money. Who can say? Two things could be true. So he sneaks her his dad's watch / compass thing with some rat poison secreted inside so she can use that to kill people if she needs to. Anyway, Hunger Games and he also scouts out the arena and is like, hey, the explosion revealed some tunnels underneath. You can go hide in them so you don't die immediately. Anyway, Hunger Games starts the next day. The mentors are there handling the donation systems. They also found Sejanus's tribute who ran away successfully after the bombing and hung him up Jesus style.
Yep.
And Sejanus is really mad and tells everyone that they suck and that murdering children isn't cool. And then he runs away. There's Hunger Games starts. There's big fights. Lucy almost dies because she goes after her friend from District 12 instead of immediately hiding. But they eventually make it into a little room where they're able to hide and not get killed. Sejanus goes into the place that night to martyr himself, I think is the idea. He wants to let himself get killed by one of the tributes so that everyone's like, oh no, Hunger Games are bad. But Dr. Gall sends Corio in after him to get Sejanus out of there so that doesn't happen. Corio does successfully convince him to leave, but they get noticed by some tributes right as they're going, so they have to book it, and then Coriolanus has to kill one of the tributes who's coming after them before they're able to fully escape, which is the first time he's ever killed a person. Anyway, the next day, it turns out that Lucy Gray's other District 12 friend got bit by a bat on the train ride over. And we found that out a while ago, but now we realize he's been developing rabies because he starts to froth at the mouth and go rabid and start attacking her. So she has to run away and eventually has to, I think, just let him get killed, I think is what happens, so that she doesn't die. No. Coriolanus convinces his friend, who is that guy's mentor, to send him water, because when you're rabid, you're afraid of water. Or, creatures with rabies are afraid of water.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as previously established in an earlier scene, the drones that they send them in now are not as good as the drones they have later, and typically just smash into stuff. So he gets smashed with water and then he falls over backwards and dies because he falls off of like a wall. Then the careers find Lucy Gray and she has to run and hide from them. She tries to poison some water they've got while they go and kill someone else. But they actually go chase the 8-year-old instead of drinking the water. And the girl with tuberculosis comes in and drinks the water and dies instead. And the guy who's really good at Hunger Games, whose name I forget, finds her because she was his partner, and he's all upset about it. So he does a big respect grave for all the dead people so far, and just sits there like, I'm just waiting for someone to kill me. but the careers are still hunting Lucy Gray, and they find her in the vents, and they're almost about to kill her, but she drops some rat poison and kills one of them. And then she chases. But in the meantime, the president's son died in the hospital, and Dr. Gall has decided, well, now that that's happened, we're just going to kill all of them. There will be no winner. And she uses a phrase that she used to describe the snakes earlier. So Coriolanus realizes she's going to drop the snakes in there. So in order to save Lucy Gray, he takes his handkerchief that she used the night before the Hunger Games started, sneaks into Dr. Gall's lab, and slips it into the snake tank so that they'll get Lucy Gray's scent. And that works, because right around now, the snake tank gets jumped in there. The rainbow snakes swarm all over the place and bite and kill everybody there except for Lucy Gray, who they avoid biting. But she starts singing to them, and so it looks like maybe they're just not killing her because she's singing, which provides some cover story. Then all the mentors and all the people in the control room with Dr. Gall convince her to let Lucy Gray win. So she's declared the winner. Hooray! Unfortunately, Coriolanus gets found out. Dean Highsmith confronts him with the rat-poisoned watch and the handkerchief, and it's like, you cheated, which is against the rules. I'm having you exiled forever. And he gets sent to become a peacekeeper out in the districts instead of winning the plinth prize. He bribes the guy who tells him where to go to get sent to District 12 instead of District 8 as planned. And Sejanus also joins up with him to be like, hey, you're my pal, and I hate the capital anyway, so we're going to be peacekeepers together. They go there, they start living their lives. He does find Lucy Gray again, and they start doing kisses on each other. And everything's okay for a minute, but Sejanus is plotting with some rebels because he doesn't like what's going on. And he at one point admits to Coriolanus that, hey, we're planning to escape north so we don't have to live under this government anymore. Coriolanus records him with a mockingjay, I think is the genetically altered ones, as opposed to the jabberjays, which are the normal ones, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? It's the
I don't
jabberjay, the
remember.
modified one.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Whichever one is the modified one that you can control with the remote control. He uses that to record Sejanus and then sends that bird off to Dr. Gall on a train. Anyway, one night at a Lucy Gray concert, Sejanus finds out that instead of using money he'd given them to get ready to escape, they've actually bought a bunch of guns and are going to do a revolution. And he's like, that's not what we agreed on. Coriolanus notices this and goes them and is like, oh no. And Lucy Gray also shows up because she was singing a song about snow when he left, and she was like, hey, what's up? And also her former love triangle people are there, and they all start arguing. And the mayor's daughter is like, I'm going to tell on all of you so you all get killed because I'm a piece of shit. So Coriolanus shoots her in the back. And then her boyfriend / other member of the love triangle gets killed by the other rebel person there because he's also freaking out. And they're like, oh no, we're fucked. The rebel guy goes to hide the guns. Coriolanus is like, Sejanus, Lucy Gray, you got to keep your goddamn mouth shut and we'll sort this out. And it seems like it works at first, but they catch that guy and they're going to hang him. But also they're hanging Sejanus because Dr. Gall got the recording. And Coriolanus doesn't do anything about it, and he doesn't tell Lucy Gray what he did. They're both like, we've got to escape because they're going to find the guns, and then they'll know that we did it, so we got to get out of here. So they're getting ready to leave. But while they're leaving, they go to he makes a slip up first about saying he's killed 3 people, which makes her suspicious. She only knows about the mayor's daughter and the tribute. But then when they get to the cabin where they're going to hide out before they go away forever, they find out that that's where the guns were hidden, which means if he destroys those guns, then all evidence of his wrongdoing is gone except for Lucy Gray.
Oh.
She kind of realizes what's coming, and so she slips away. He goes to chasing after her, and then sort of loses his mind when he gets bit by a snake, and shoots after her, and may or may not have killed her. It is not clear to him or the audience. He never finds a body. He hears her screaming, but that also just gets repeated by a bunch of jabberjays. And he doesn't know what happened. So he goes back where his commanding officer had previously offered to promote him because he liked his dad and doesn't care that Dean Highsmith was trying to ruin him. But it turns out he's getting sent all the way back to the Capitol because Dr. Gall asked for him. Because she's like, hey, you turned in your best friend to me, and that shows me that you're evil enough to work for me. And he's like, you're right, I am evil enough to work for you. And we get the whole montage of him being an evil little boy, getting ready to become President Snow. With one final talk with Dean Highsmith, Peter Dinklage, where he admits that he used to be best friends with Coriolanus's dad, and he was known as the inventor of the Hunger Games, which is true, but he came up with it basically as a joke, and Coriolanus's dad took the ideas and took them to the government, presenting them as like a collaboration between the two, and got them implemented for real. And Dean Highsmith has always hated this. He never wanted the games to actually happen, and that's part of why he hates Coriolanus so much. That, and he can kind of tell that Coriolanus is a lot like his dad. But Coriolanus gives him his drugs that he does to forget, but he's poisoned them, so he dies. Just like we find out in an earlier in our world, later in their world book that he does regularly to his adversaries. And Dean Highsmith dies, and Coriolanus goes off to be an evil little boy with Dr. Gall, and that's the end of the movie.
Good job, Diggins.
Oof. That certainly is the movie.
It is the movie.
That is the movie.
And just remembering it, it's like, man, that was a lot of stuff. I forgot how much stuff that was. I would have been able to remember it, I think, but it would have taken. I think the thing is, I would have had to keep going and going and going and going, and then I'm like, something else must have happened. Oh, right, that's when this guy, like that last scene was what's his name with Peter Dinklage. Oh, right, I forgot about that. And all that stuff with the dad. It's important, but it's also like everything past Hunger Games just totally lost me. I mean, we'll get to it, but
well, we're getting to it right now, Nando, because as a winner, you get to say how you felt about the movie.
That's true. So I didn't expect a ton from this. I know we made a lot of hay out of the Fantastic Beasts movies, which is probably the closest thing to this. And obviously there were a lot of differences, but like, I think the interesting thing about that is everything about the Fantastic Beasts, like all the stuff that connected it to canon and all that stuff was pretty pointless and whatever. But in the first one, I think one of the things people liked was like the Newt and his little friend just bumbling around, like doing little adventures and stuff. And I think like this movie as a movie is okay. Like functionally, I think it like more or less works. I think it's way too long. But looking at all the stuff I didn't like about it and the stuff that I'm like, why didn't I have a good time with this? And like, why don't I think this was as like concise as some of the other ones is, I just could not do this character. Like Coriolanus Snow is just not just unlikable because obviously he's the bad guy, but also just like no fun to watch. And that really like killed it. I don't necessarily think it's like the actor's fault. I think it's more of a fault of the decision of this movie to be about this character. And the book obviously is where that comes from. But like for that reason, I found it really hard to care about any of this. And, the parts that were Hunger Games were kind of interesting. And the parts that were after Hunger Games, I found kind of boring. But like, I think Coriolanus works in the beginning of the movie as a vehicle to understand the Hunger Games and stuff. But like once we're out of the Hunger Games, it's like, what am I doing with this guy? So yeah, not a fan. I don't think it's the worst movie I've ever seen. And it probably is the worst one of these for me. But I do think it's just mostly because I don't think this character works. And I also didn't find his like descent into evil particularly interesting either. So that also really hurt it. But yeah, I mean, it could have been worse. Probably. I don't know. Dickens, what did you think of this movie?
I kind of like this movie.
Whoa, let's go.
I mean, it's not as good as the first few Hunger Games is, definitely. And it is too long. I agree with you there. So I saw some people saying like, "Oh, I think it would have been better if it was split in two parts," and I'm like, I think it could have been better if it was edited.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's enough meat on this bone for 2 movies.
No, for
But
sure.
I do think that it there's a bunch in there that I think could have been trimmed and like we didn't really need. Like there's a lot of circling the same ideas in the first 2/3 of this movie. Like, I think if everything had the conciseness of the last third of the movie, then I think it would have been a more reasonable length and probably would have worked better. But regardless, I get what you're saying about Coriolanus is a less compelling protagonist than Katniss, and I think you're right. But I did kind of enjoy seeing I guess for me, a lot of this movie was kind of like trying to disentangle between him and Lucy Gray on both sides. Like how much of what's happening here is sincere and how much of this is manipulation for survival. I mean, on Snow's part, obviously, because, at the end, it's clear that he's, we already know from the beginning because we know he's going to be evil dictator man. But by the end, it's clear that even this version of this character is kind of selfish and amoral. But also on her part, not out of like amorality or selfishness, but out of sheer survival. How much of what she's doing with him is more about, trying to manipulate and get him to help her than it is like genuine feeling on her part. And I found that dynamic kind of interesting for me. Sort of as a mirror to Katniss and Peeta, which is like has those elements but ultimately is something that is more caring and real, whereas this one is mostly those elements, and whatever realness there is in there is ultimately superficial and unimportant. And I kind of liked that inversion, just as a way to play with the ideas from the other movies. But yeah, no, I get it. If the character is less interesting to you and if it's too long. I also want to say Viola Davis putting in just an absolutely galaxy brain performance, just completely unhinged. I loved it. Yeah, it sounded like you were going to say something.
It was okay. I don't know. I didn't hate it. I think I could have done with her at a little less and Peter Dinklage a lot more or something like that. I feel like the levels of them were wild, but I gotta respect it. It was something.
Yeah, no, so ultimately I do like this movie, even though it has its problems. I'm not going to go to bat for it, but overall I continue to be pleasantly surprised by these Hunger Gameses. I think they've almost all turned out to be better than I expected. What about you, DJ? What did you think?
I think this movie's dog shit. I think it's terrible.
Wow.
I think it never should have seen the light of day. I think it sins for how long and drawn out and bad the second part is, cannot overshadow its good parts. Because there were parts of the beginning part of the movie that I liked, but I think there's so much fat and just unnecessary garbage that I think it ruins the entirety of the movie. There's nothing fun here. I think from the jump, this series for me has always been best when we've had a Hunger Games to focus on, and the Hunger Games of this movie sucks. It sucks so bad. I think this movie has committed unforgivable sins. I hate it to my core so much. I hate it so much. Wow. I fell asleep during the movie. That's how much it just bored me and failed to grab me. And Diggins, I understand what you're saying. And sure, maybe parts of those things are there, but oh my God, I think this movie is committed like the unforgivable curses from Harry Potter or whatever. I think it's that bad and terrible and sad and uninteresting and boring, and I hate it so much. I hate this movie with a fiery passion.
2 things. One, DJ wants us to respect his opinion on a movie he hasn't even watched all of.
Hey.
2, are you saying this is worse than Fantastic Beasts?
Which one?
Any of them.
Like
They're
the
all
first
terrible.
one?
They're all bad. Which one? It doesn't matter.
I think it's better than the first 2 Fantastic. No, sorry. I think the first two Fantastic Beasts are better than this.
Insane thing you've just said.
Yeah, I'll take one, but not two. Two was maybe the worst one out of all three of them. I
thought
think.
3 was pretty. A lot of it blends together.
Yeah, and I honestly can't remember.
I mean,
exactly
listen,
what
if you
was
say
in
3 is worse than 2, I can get behind that. You say this movie is worse than any of them, out of your mind.
I don't know, man. I think this movie's, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. And sure, the Viola Davis performance is fine, but it's not that good. And the Peter Dinklage performance is bad. It's bad.
What's bad about it?
All of it. It's just him one note being I'm the saddest, sad man, sad. They could have gotten anyone to be sad. You don't have to get Peter Dinklage to be a sad, he's a drunkard, sure, but there's nothing happening. It's so frustrating because I think you can see the bones.
The character's in 4 scenes. I don't think he needs to be that multi-dimensional. I
think there are the bones here of what could be a good movie, and it fails. It fails spectacularly. I think this movie is like a 2 out of 10. I think it's awful.
Wow,
incredible.
Yeah,
can't believe what I'm hearing.
Biggest rotten. It's awful. It's awful. It's awful, and I hate it.
Wow,
I hate it so much.
Well, now that we've all had our opinions, let's do the individual stuff. What do we think of little young Coriolanus, Tom Blythe's guy? You like him?
He sure does have an accent. Oh yes, I'm here to meet you at the Capitol because I'm Coriolanus Snow.
That
Tigers, fetch my cummerbund.
There's absolutely no way in which that sounds accurate. There's zero resemblance whatsoever.
Fine, you give it a go. Go for it.
I didn't think his voice was that distinctive. I'm not the one who's making claims about how weird his voice is.
I can't remember what it sounds like at all, so it might have been right or wrong.
There's something weird about it. There's something weird about it.
He's kind of British, right? I guess that's part of it. His name is Tom Blythe. Let's look up what he's from. Maybe I'll remember him if I look at his face. Nope, nothing.
No, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I couldn't even tell you what's anything fun or cool he does that he performs. I don't know. I just think this movie is so one note. It's not even one note. It's half a note. It's bad.
Wow.
It's bad. I'll stand by that. I stand by it.
Who is your favorite character, DJ? You must have had one favorite.
Favorite character. I like Flickerman. I thought Jason Schwartzman's
I forgot about
Flickerman
him.
was a cool guy.
What was his name? It was Aloysius or something like that.
Lucretius.
Lucretius. Yeah, there you go.
Or is it Lucretius?
That sounds right. Yeah, he definitely did call himself Lucky. Now I assume this is supposed to be Caesar Flickerman's dad or something.
Or dad or grandpa or something.
Yeah,
it is Lucretius. I was right.
Yeah, he was good.
They continue the theme of having capital people Roman names that don't really have any kind of historical allegory or anything. They're just Roman names.
Yeah, some of them maybe they shouldn't pick those names, like Coriolanus and then his friend something Anus as well, like Sejanus. Yeah, maybe stop doing kids with anus in their name if you want me to take this movie seriously.
But how else are you going to know that Coriolanus is a butthole?
That's fair.
Make you think.
He's man, that's what a name. How many characters? Is there ever in a movie before where 2 guys had anus in their name?
I'm sure. There must be. I mean, first of all, the movie version of Coriolanus, the Shakespeare play.
That's true.
How could we forget?
I mean, it's up there. It's in terms of it's got to be, this has to be, besides that, the most anus names in the history of movies. And
never been more anus names than
somewhat distracting. I was really ready when this movie started to just be giggling at Coriolanus the whole time, and I was. But then his friend showed up with anus name. I was like, is that why you're friends? Did you guys go to school and everybody was picking on both of you? What happened? Or did you guys meet and then go, well, what's the funny thing about us after they were friends? I don't know.
We're the anuses.
We're the anus boys, yeah. What'd you think?
That's the other name for this podcast, isn't it?
The anus boys, yeah. Anus boys are back, baby. What'd you think of the friend guy? Who's that actor? I feel like I should know who that was.
I don't know the actor's name. I know the character is Sejanus Plinth.
Yeah, he was interesting.
He was kind of felt like a bargain bin Justice Smith to me. Not that he was bad, just very similar energy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I get it.
He was fine. He didn't really leave a big impression on me either, to be honest. But it was good to have that sort of friend character that he could betray later.
Yeah. What do you think if there was a Hunger Games and you were in the Capitol, do you think you'd be like that guy, just complaining about it all the time? Or do you think you'd be like, I don't think I'm going to watch it this year because it's bad, but like, I'm not going to tell them how to do their job, you know?
I think I would hope I would be against the child murder.
But you'd be in the Capitol. I feel like you're so, not you, but like a citizen would become so a nerd to it, you know?
Yeah, we'd be like,
it's only been there for 10 years at that point.
That's true. It's still pretty new.
If I'm my age right now, I was 22 when they started. I feel like I would be like, hey guys, I don't know about all this child murder we're doing.
Yeah, it's tough to not. I feel like growing up on the Hunger Games would be a little weird. I also feel like if I was definitely not like in danger of getting Hunger Games, that would change my opinion of them greatly. Like, I feel like that there would be a moment where I'd be like, oh shit, I could get Hunger Games. This sucks. I think I'd still think it sucks, but I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The Capitol brass is upset that the ratings are down for the Hunger Games and they might get canceled. Mm-hmm. But why does it matter? They don't sell ad spots on the Hunger Games, I don't think. Like, why do they care what the ratings for the Hunger Games are?
Especially if it seems like they march everybody in the districts out and force them to watch anyway.
I think that hadn't happened yet. The forcing district people to watch. B, I think they talk about it in terms of ratings, but what they're like saying is people in the Capitol are getting like more and more ambivalent about this idea and I kind of don't like that we do it, so we should probably stop soon. And she talks about it in terms of ratings to be like, we have to get Capitol people liking these so we can keep doing them.
Right.
But I still don't see the import of it. Well, why does it matter?
It doesn't. That's the point, DJ. He prolongs the games that were on their way out as a matter of cruelty and personal power, causing needless suffering for 60 more years. He's a bad guy.
And I feel they talk about this in like the other movies, why you got to keep doing Hunger Games is, you know, gotta
talk about it in this movie, the personal philosophy about why they keep doing it.
Yeah.
But like it's always tied to how it matters to the districts. Like, because in the other ones, it's like, oh, you got to give them hope. You know, there's other ways to do it. But they're talking about we need people in the Capitol watching it. Like, that doesn't seem to matter. Well, like, that's not part of it.
But that's the end of the movie, DJ, when she finally says it out loud with words, where she's like, why do we have the Hunger Games? And he's like, we have to remind people that they're feral, evil animals at their core. That if we didn't have the Capitol and all the civilization we've got here, that everyone would be killing each other all the time.
Diggins, I'm going to posit that maybe this is the part DJ slept through.
No, I woke up at the end.
Which part did you sleep through? I was wondering about this when you said that, and I forgot to ask.
Okay, So it was all after the Hunger Games had happened. I was good for all of the Hunger Games and all that stuff I was good for. All of a sudden he was like bald and had a gun. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happened? I read the plot after, so like I missed all of that. And then I think I nodded off again when him and Lucy were like, oh, the whole plot with like the guys with the guns and stuff, and they were in like the underground bar, and nodded off again. So they were like big. Here's the problem. Movie theater, at least the movie theater by me, is very good at being very comfy. You go to the nice, like the XD as they call it. You got the very plush leather seat, full recline, heated seat, and you just sink into it. You're at an evening show. I had a long Thanksgiving weekend and even week leading up to Thanksgiving. By the way, hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Let's say that at the up.
Unless you're not American, in which case I hope you had a good American. Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, happy Canadian Thanksgiving from a month ago or whatever.
That's true. Yeah, they have a Thanksgiving.
In October.
Yeah.
Madness. Actually, it might be better. It was a little warmer out. Might be good.
Probably space it out from Christmas a little bit. That would be nice.
That too, yeah.
Although then it would overlap with Halloween, although like they're different. Those holidays serve different functions, whereas Thanksgiving and Christmas are both like see your family holidays.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you put all that together. I got tryptophan in my system. I'm still eating leftovers. You got to be at least a 6 out of 10 movie to keep me awake in that setting. That's all I'm saying.
So what DJ's saying is he mixed the entire climax of the movie that he says is bad.
Did I though? Like it seems like I saw the important bits, him screaming in the middle of a forest, inexplicably just going insane. Like, I got it.
I would love
it.
if that was where you fell asleep right as he left the Capitol, or right after Peter Dinklage yelled at him, and you woke up with him sleeping in the forest or screaming in the forest, and you had to kind of put that together. Like, I guess he got lost after his haircut. Now it's good thing he's going home.
He's so upset. The male pattern baldness struck him. He's gotten so upset. I mean, that's what happened when I had to give up on my hair. I went out into the forest and I screamed.
Yeah.
Shot at a bunch of birds.
But listen, if it was good, it would have kept me awake. Look, I wouldn't have
seems
had
like some real circular logic, DJ. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not having this problem with Mad Max Fury Road. I'm not having this problem with Entourage. I'm not having this problem with Renfield. I'm not having this problem with, Willy's Wonderland.
Those are the 4 movies.
This movie.
Those are all the 4 movies that were made before this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only ones.
You know what? I haven't seen it, but I bet I'm not having that problem with Wish.
I don't know about that.
Wish is half as long.
Exactly.
I've heard things.
We are not talking about how... Look, this movie, and we've talked about this before about other movies, this movie is 2 movies. This movie can end after the first Hunger Games.
I disagree.
It doesn't have to keep going. It has a good ending. You could make Coriolanus evil and have all that stuff. I don't need him getting exiled.
I think it is too long. I disagree that it's 2 movies.
I don't know. 1.5 movies, maybe. It's not 1 movie. For
yeah,
sure.
I don't think you could split it and then have a full movie at the end. I think there's like I could see a version of this in the universe where they didn't split the Hunger Games book 3 into 4 or 2 movies, where they do take their time with this and like make a lot of stuff happen in District 12 because. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all that happens is he goes to a concert, kills some people, his friend gets hanged, and then leaves. So
yeah, everyone knows when they made the proper number of movies in a book trilogy and then went back to do a prequel book and split that into multiple movies, that has never gone bad ever.
I would have been fine with it. I honestly would have been fine with it.
See, I think they could have cinched those Harry Potter movies together too. I think they made the mistake of not shortening it. Instead of shortening it,
Oh, that's not the one I'm talking about.
Oh, which one are you talking about? Lord of the Rings? Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Oof, that's a messy one. 3 was tough.
They were all tough. I mean,
yeah.
1 had its moments, but 2 and 3 are real bad.
I understand taking this and making it 2 movies is probably worse than this 1 movie. But there must be a way to trim it down. The problem is none of us have read the book, so I don't know if it's so crucial that it's all there.
I mean, just from seeing it on the screen, I would say there's quite a bit of it you could lose that's not crucial.
Yeah, I also think
maybe I'm on board. Maybe I don't fall asleep. I don't know.
Well, the nice thing about the book is if you fall asleep, you wake up on the page that you stopped on.
That's true.
So you cannot miss the book unless you just turn pages in your sleep. I have like some sort of automatic book, yeah.
This other, I don't know if it's a nitpick, but if I get my complaining corner, this is just a complaint. The second half of the movie is just not loud enough to rouse me from a slumber.
It's got songs in it and stuff.
Slumber.
Yeah.
Multiple people are hanged.
A man fires a gun.
Yeah.
Well, I was awake then. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you need like a little kind of, they need to work an alarm into every scene or something. You loved Groundhog's Day. That was probably your favorite movie. Every time you started to fall asleep, it did it again.
It's like that cockatiel in Citizen Kane.
Yeah. They really got it, like they perfected movies with Citizen Kane, and everything else since then has been not as good. But
I like to think I speak for the common man or woman or non-binary person. But I think they all agree with me that, you know, if you're going to put me in a comfy movie theater, you need a movie that's going to grab my attention. So,
see, I could never fall asleep in an XD movie theater because I would be too busy constantly thinking about a more shameful period of my online communication.
Wait, is this the movie theater that sprays like oil on you or whatever when the characters?
No, that's 4D.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know what the XD is. It's just Cinemark's branding for it's nicer.
The ticket is more expensive or something. Like
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. This also isn't the one where the walls have extra movie on them, right? That's a different thing.
No.
Okay.
I'm sure though this is the one that if you're in the adjacent theaters to this one, you hear what's going on in the XD movie theater in the other theaters. That's my guess.
I mean, apparently not for this movie though, because it was nice and quiet.
No. Also, no one was in my theater, so no one could have been like, "Hey, man, wake up!" Like, "Oh, thanks."
Do people do that when you fall asleep in theaters with other people?
I like to think if I saw someone fall asleep, I would have been like, "Hey, you're missing the movie." You know,
I would absolutely not do that thing. I would be like, they're doing what they need to do.
If they're snoring, I'll bug them. But if
they're if they're
that's the only
noise.
way. DJ, you snore? Are you snore?
I've been told I am. I don't know in the theater if I snored. No one told me, but I've been told I am a snorer.
Mm-hmm. How often would you say you fall asleep during a movie?
Never. It's such a rare occurrence.
Wow.
Really? I think I remember some other movies on this very podcast.
Well,
I think he just didn't watch those and he was guessing. That's my guess with one or two of them. With this one, I'm with DJ on being potentially able to fall asleep during that part. Not necessarily because it's too quiet, but I do think like it's hard. It's really hard to not end one of these with the Hunger Games. There's so much falling action, but it's not falling action, but there's just so much like flump. I don't know. It was good. It was like, the parts they were kind of done well, but it's like, it would be like if there were more fireworks after that bit where they shoot all the fireworks at the end. And I'd be like, I think we got it. I don't know.
But also, there is so much more you could have done leading up to the Hunger Games. Like, show them the formulation of, like, showing the tributes to the crowd. Or, have them kind of brainstorm ideas that show how they got from here to the, 74th Hunger Games, right? Like, it's all just like, yeah, I wrote it on a piece of paper. But, like, if that's all you're going to say and you're doing, like, a tell, no show, it's so hollow. Like, and you have a movie with good actors, allegedly. Show some of that formulation.
Wow.
Who are you throwing shade on there? Which
that
actors?
Might be compelling.
What actors
that might be cool
thrown
to
under
watch.
the bus in this DJ criticism here?
I really am mad that the back half of this movie is pointless bullshit.
Wow.
It's so frustrating. Maybe there was cool stuff that I missed while sleeping, but it seemed like pointless bullshit.
You're talking about how the part of the movie you didn't watch is pointless.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I still got the whole thing. I understood everything.
I don't think you did.
Yeah. They need to figure out a way to incept you with these movies just in case you fall asleep. They play it in your dreams. Leonardo DiCaprio comes in and like pulls down a little projector.
Hey man,
makes
you're
that
missing
face
some
at
great
you.
stuff in here.
Yeah.
Because of the time dilation, I could probably see multiple movies.
That's true. You could watch all the Hunger. It would feel like you're watching a tight 90, but it's really a 4-hour movie like all movies are these days.
Wouldn't it be the opposite? You could be watching a tight 90 because of time dilation. It feels like you're watching a 6-hour movie.
I can't remember how that worked.
Yeah, me neither.
The further you go in, the less time moves.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm thinking you could cram more movies into a shorter period of time.
I think that's right. Right? How did Inception work?
Yeah, remember? Because as we go further in, we would like come back to earlier iterations and we'd see them moving in slow motion.
Right. So then you would watch,
90 minutes goes by in real life, but in the dreamscape, it's like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I could watch like 4 movies.
So you would watch a bunch of movies that then you'd come out with like 90 minutes of actual time used. So it would feel like you wasted all that time, or like you spent, lots of time watching all these movies, but maybe your brain would be like, that was 90 minutes. Love that. I have a full day ahead of me.
Yeah, right. Like I got to see all 4 Hunger Games. I still got time for dinner or whatever.
That's like your Hermione time turner nerd who does it to do more homework. I watched more movies, incepted myself.
So was Hermione getting less sleep because of that? Because she was spending more than 24 hours in a day, but still sleeping the same amount?
I don't know. Does time turning
No one knows. No one.
I'm gonna say yes. I think she was getting less sleep. She was she like? No, I guess she still had her usual amount of energy.
Well, that was from all the cocaine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what wizard drugs they are. I'm sure there's some drug that's named once or twice. Doesn't what's his name do drugs? Speaking of guys that have a little vial of drugs.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage does some drugs.
Peter Dinklage has it in this. Yeah, in the first one, it's the actor's name. I guess it's secretly Potion is the one that Brendan Gleeson has, but yeah, whatever people thought that was, like, speed or I don't know. This movie though, yeah, it's long. And you guys, the Hunger Games, there was a whole Hunger Games in this.
The arena in this one was circular.
Kind of. Yeah, I guess it was. What was it originally? Was it like a little amphitheater or something? Or was it like a train station? I can't remember.
It looked like an amphitheater. It looked like maybe it was like sports were played there or something.
Yeah.
But you know what else is circular, Nando?
What?
Perhaps some sort of conveyance by which a vehicle such as a car might move.
Oh. Like a tire?
Yeah, like a tire.
Nice. DJ was tired when he watched the movie.
Damn right.
That's what you were getting at? Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what I was getting at.
Well, let's go to the wheel. It's the best time for that. Because we got a lot of stuff on this wheel, you guys. Some of it we've kind of talked about. We'll get to the rest of it. I'm gonna spin the wheel. And it landed on this is one of mine. Wow, Tigress, you're looking great for 80. I just want to talk about this character. Is this the same character from the ones we just watched, right?
Correct.
What happened? Like, did they just not decide that this character was going to, like, because I didn't look back, but I don't remember this character looking the same age as Donald Sutherland's character.
She's older. This character's supposed to be older than President Snow by like a couple years.
So what do you think did they just go like, yeah, fuck it?
Well, when she got the cat person surgery, she was also like, can you also make me look like 30 years younger?
I guess that's true. If you get the cat person surgery, maybe they also go in and do a lot of other work. But then you'd figure, wouldn't everybody else get the other work? Why would anybody age?
They just stay that forever.
Yeah.
Or maybe the cat person features really hide the wrinkles and such.
Maybe, yeah. What do you think of Tigress in this? Sister.
A cousin.
Oh, cousin, right. Siblings. I knew it wasn't sister, but I couldn't remember, yeah.
She's not much of a character, and she's basically the person who's like, Coriolanus, I love that you're a good person and not a bad person, and at the end is sad.
Yeah. Kind of seemed like for my, like, I realized this just now, but I was like, what character could this have been about if it wasn't about him? And I think it could have been about her. I could see a movie where you're like watching him be evil, but she's like still not fully evil. Why do you think he cat persons her? Do we ever find that out?
Nope.
Did she have any moments in this where she was like drinking a big old saucer of milk or something, like to foreshadow it? She like he walked in her room with his new cummerbund and she's like, meow, you look dashing.
Or she was like Ian McKellen in Cats.
Yeah.
You walk in and she's just lapping up milk from a saucer. Yeah. If only. No, not as far as I know.
Damn, missed opportunity.
And I will say, I guess, in defense of the name, her name does appear to be Tigress, as in Tigris and Euphrates, the rivers.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Vaguely fits the Roman thing.
So do you think if she wasn't named Tigress, he wouldn't have done the tiger thing, though? Like,
yeah, what would he have done if she was Euphrates?
Like the like a sheep, right? Like you, maybe.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, make her a sheep person.
Yeah, Euphrates nuts. That's what she would say to everybody. And you'd be like, Jesus Christ. I wish Mom had actually named you Tigress. This was annoying. And they'd be like, my last name, my name has anus in it. Is that anything? She'd be like, no, not a little bit. Your names suck. I mean, man, can you imagine if like Donald Trump's name had the word anus in it? We'd never shut up about it. It would be, we never. I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can be a president with that in your name. Are there any names that are in like real life, not, Hunger Games, ancient Roman names that have anus in them that I'm thinking of?
What about anus? I mean, there's Norbert Leo Butz, the Broadway star.
Yeah. And there's like people named Dick, but that's different than anus.
Yeah.
I think would you guys go by Corey or Corio?
They do call him Corio for the most part in this movie.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, I guess it's weird that the kids all tease him for being poor. None of them are like, hey, Corial anus. But maybe they get that out of their system in kindergarten. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe by the time you get to like, I guess this is like a prep school, like high school sort of situation.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about, I want to go to the academy.
Right. Okay, this was a question I had. The Plinth Prize, was it a scholarship or just cash?
I think it's just cash because they talk about it solving all their problems.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the Tigress thing is weird. It's weird just because they don't look like that in the new one or in the old ones, but they're still in this one, and they're just like, and you know what? If I didn't know that character's name was Tiger, if like people didn't constantly say this is actually the character that's going to be in this movie that's dressed like a cat person, I would never put that together. I'd just be like, I don't know, this is his cousin or something. But I don't know. Do you think she's the only person he's ever cat personed?
I mean, if you have the technology, you have to use it more than once.
Do you only get people with cat names like Garfield and Felix and stuff? Or I guess they're not cat names in their universe, but what would a cat name be? I mean,
it is future America, so those might have existed at some point.
That's true. I feel like Felix is kind of already out of the consciousness, but Garfield feels like he's to stick with for a while, especially with Chris Pratt and Nicholas Hoult.
Especially if Rome, the idea of Rome has survived.
That's
the
true.
Latin language.
And Italy, lasagna, his favorite food.
There we go. See? Yeah. It's all coming together.
Yeah, he's good in this. I mean, not Garfield is good in this. Garfield would have a lot of fun in the Hunger Games universe, you think? Or do you think he'd hate it?
I mean, it's just, if he's not in the Hunger Games, it's just watching TV, which is one of his favorite things.
That's true. He does like watching TV.
But the lasagna, there's no lasagna.
Well, I mean, if you're in the capital.
Know that there's no lasagna. Nobody ever says there's no lasagna.
And that was probably DJ. That's where they lost you, right?
Yeah.
When you're like an hour and a half in and you're like, I don't know if lasagna exists in this universe. What are we even doing here? Quick, we need to send in a drone with lasagna for poor whatever her name is, Lucy Gray. She needs the carbs. She's getting low on blood sugar. Yeah, listen. The Tigers thing's weird. The actor, by the way, I just looked this up because I was curious. Did you know they're from New Jersey?
Oh.
Yeah, we need more New Jersey people in the world,
About that.
Solve a lot of the world's problems, if you ask me. And cause a bunch of different ones, but they would solve some of them. I spun the wheel again, you guys. Landed on one of, I guess this was both of them, but this is, let's say Diggins is howdy, or DJ's was howdy y'all, or no, Diggins was howdy y'all. DJ, what was yours?
DJ's.
What howdy y'all. What did you call it? I can't remember.
I said Rachel Zegler's coming for Tom Hanks' crown.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
So
well, let's talk about Rachel Zegler, the Shazam Zone. What was one of the gods at Shazam 2 or something? She's back, baby, having an incredible year as Lucy Gray from District 12. What do we think of her?
She's not from District 12, Nando.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She's part of the Covey, who are nomadic, but they kind of got stuck in District 12 when the war ended.
Yeah, what are we supposed to read this as? Are they like Romani? Is that what they're going for with this?
I guess.
Group of people. I couldn't tell if it was that or if they were like a circus, like they were a traveling like band, but there was no.
I guess it's more of that since we don't have Roma.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I mean, Roma people live here, but it's not like a thing like it is in Europe.
Yeah. Do we have anything like that? Especially they'd have to be in the South too for this to map. I don't know. I think she is part of like a traveling band, like the Partridge Family or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. So she's stuck in District 12, gets Hunger Games, bites that girl with the snake or something. Pretty cool. Does lots of singing. Okay, here's a question. Had either of you guys seen the trailers for this movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like they were everywhere.
So they were, and I remember seeing at least one or two of them. But when she opened her mouth for the first time in this movie, I gasped. Like I don't remember this in the trailers. Her, Miss Minutes voice. I don't think it was even that bad, but I was like, wait, what? That's what we're doing with her?
I mean, there were definitely parts in the trailers where she talked, but either they changed it like it was ADR'd different or something, or the lines were just short and in the middle of enough other stuff that I didn't notice. I was completely shocked by the howdy y'all, I'm Lucy Graybeard.
Yeah.
Good for Rachel Zegler, I guess, for being able to pull that off the whole time, but it must have been so jarring.
It was just silly. It felt like a silly choice. Which it took away a little from the character. Like, I got used to it over time and it stopped bothering me. But the first time she's on screen with her colorful Disney princess dress, talking like she's from the antebellum South, y'all, and singing to the crowd while she's supposed to be getting arrested or whatever. It was all a little like, this is too much at once. You have to pick some of this. You can't do all of it.
Yeah. However, she did do all of it, and I do think. See, that's the thing. This is Hunger Games, the Ballad of Too Much and Too Little, because she had way too much, and then for me, what's his name, Lil Coriolanus, was just like kind of nothing. He should have had a little Southern accent, and she could have had nothing. That would have been something. Watch that actor kind of struggle through that. That would have been fun. And then so could, what's his name? Peter Dinklage could also get a Southern accent.
Can you imagine?
Has he ever done it?
Oh,
it would probably be so bad.
Yeah, I can't even think
of
what that would be.
I've only ever heard him do his real voice and vaguely British.
Yeah, same. He's really carved out a lane as Peter Dinklage type characters. And good for him. But yeah, Rachel Zegler, interesting in this. She's okay.
I think she won me over by the end. Like, I was jarred by all the affectations at first, but I think she played well. Like, by the end, it was clear to me that they were affectations, that she always was kind of conscious of playing these things up in a way that helped endear her to people. Like, I think that's another thing that makes her an interesting kind of contrast to Katniss, where she seems so much more natural and aware of that sort of like manipulating sympathies thing that Katniss wasn't very good at.
Yeah.
Or, was good at, but only in the moments where she was being sincere and not as like a performance. So like by the end, when like that element of her character had like become a lot clearer, I was into it.
Speaking of Katniss, by the way, how'd you like that little?
When Rachel Zegler picks up a plant, is like, did you know that later there's going to be a person named Katniss? I think Katniss is a prettier name, don't you?
He should have touched him like, oh, it burns. I curse this Katniss.
For some reason, I think Katniss sucks and I hate it.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, listen. Yeah, it's like this movie was kind of light on like prequel nonsense compared to other ones of these that we've seen. So I can't completely fault it.
Yeah, that was the only like really egregious one.
I mean, they had like that Hanging Tree song that I was like, there's got to be more than 3 songs in this universe. But that's pretty popular. And they had they had the whole character of Tigress, I feel like. Does feel like that. There was another thing that was super on the nose. I don't remember what it was. It was something that like when they were talking about planning the Hunger Games, I'm just going to kill me. But yeah, it was nothing like your name is so low. You have no people. Nothing quite that bad. I want to spin the wheel again and landed on Diggins's Viola Davis gets Joker-fied. Let's talk about her. You liked her, right, Diggins, you said?
I did. I mean, it's certainly a very what's the word I'm looking for here? Over the top performance. But I enjoyed it as she was just being like, it's not like these movies are subtle about their metaphors or anything. They might as well be a cartoon supervillain who is encouraging Coriolanus to be evil.
Yeah.
So I thought that she seemed like she was having fun with that in a way that increased my enjoyment of the movie.
Did you see? I don't know if I saw this in an interview, if I read it somewhere, what character she was going for.
No, what did she say?
Did you see this?
Was it the Joker?
No,
No.
it's a Joker-esque character. This would have been my trivia if I was doing it. I honestly thought this was something that everybody knew, so I probably wouldn't have even done it. Take a guess. I think if you both guess, you'll get it in one or two guesses.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it's Willy Wonka. That's the other one. The Joker-iest character that is in the Joker.
Oh boy.
I could see it.
Oh man, so what you're saying is this is the first of many Wonka movies we're getting this year.
Oh yeah, big Wonka winter for us. So we'll be able to tell soon which one was the proper Wonka, who Wonka it best.
We'll have to decide later whether Timothée Chalamet or Viola Davis was a better Wonka.
I mean, what did you think of her? Her snake thing was interesting as like a theme. She loves snakes.
I mean, it's in the title.
Yeah.
I have a nitpick about that, by the way.
Uh-huh.
So, as Diggins mentioned, the handkerchief that Coriolanus like throws into the snake pit to give the scent so that they won't bite Lucy Gray. Every snake in there like smelled that. There were hundreds of snakes.
Snakes have pretty good senses of smell.
There's a tiny handkerchief.
It's how they hunt.
What about the snakes at the bottom of the pit?
He actually puts it in closer to the bottom than the top.
Well, fine. What about the ones at the top? I was just like, you know what I mean?
Well,
what about
air
the
And
rises?
they're all slithering around, the ones at the top and ones at the bottom. It's like, I mean, I don't know why.
I can't believe you guys are defending this. This is unconscionable. Terrible.
Wait, we don't know how long it was in the thing. It was probably like a couple minutes at least,
And they were writhing around all in there. There's no sense that the ones at the top stay at the top.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if we were in a room, okay, let's say we're in a room that's as big as, I don't know, it's like your living room maybe.
Okay.
With like 400 people and one of them like farts or something. I think we'd all smell it. I think it would make it, especially if we're all doing laps around the room. Yeah,
especially if our tight, sweaty little bodies are rubbing against each other constantly.
Yeah, because I guess what would happen is someone would get the scent on them and someone else would get the scent on them, and then you smell that guy instead of the napkin, and then that's enough. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess he really gambled a lot, being like, I hope and literally every single snake smells this.
Well,
even if one doesn't, then it's biting her.
To be fair to him, he has at this point learned that a bunch of sheets of paper that he wrote on smell enough like him that they won't bite him.
Also, it's like, what are you losing? If you're wrong, you're down one napkin or something, but
handkerchief.
Or handkerchief,
although, in his anti-defense, it is a handkerchief with his father's initials monogrammed.
Yeah, not great.
No,
that was not great.
Didn't really have a plan for how to clean that one up.
I mean, like, I feel like we've learned. Have we seen a Hunger Games without cheating and bullshit? I guess the original one wasn't.
What
too much
counts
cheating.
as cheating?
Like this stuff, like this, where like someone from the outside is pretty much giving you what you need, but not with like the little drops with other stuff.
Not the allowed stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, only the first one. I mean, the second one, I feel like there's not a lot of cheating until they escape at the end.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And this one also, like, there's not a whole lot, like, looking at there's just such a huge gap between 74 and 75 in, like, production value. I wonder when we got from 10 to 75, like, at what point did they start putting stuff in the maze that could, like, just big fire tree thing? Because, like, they really are at the whims of the kids. If the kids are good at Hunger Games or not. They have one move, which is dump snakes on them. But besides that, there's not a lot of like little nudges. I guess if it's small, they assume nobody's going to go for it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the original plan really was just dump them in a mid-size arena.
Yeah.
And just watch for an hour or so until only one of them's alive.
An hour, like the Hunger Games as is, given that there is no terrorist bombing, it should last about 10 minutes.
I mean, this one goes overnight, right? Like,
but that's
because there's bombs that lets you get to the tunnels.
Yeah, it's like rubble and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's not how it was designed.
But I guess you couldn't hide as much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an arena. It's like a Roman Colosseum.
I feel like if you're like that girl that scurries up to the big tree, not tree, but like the big pedestal thing, You could kill some time up there as long as I don't have like a bow and arrow.
I'm pretty sure even that's only accessible because like it had partially collapsed.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, I do think that like it's hard with hindsight and having watched the Hunger Games. We know what makes a better Hunger Games than this, but if you were working for them right now, what would you suggest? If they're like, we need more ratings than the Hunger Games, what would your little essay be?
It's like essay for my life.
Yeah.
I would gamify viewership.
Oh, you get like little drops, like a
yes,
Twitch? Yeah.
Drops. Yep, Twitch drops. Twitch drops for the Hunger Games.
And if you have channel points, then you can spend them to like, I don't know, have like a Crash Bandicoot voice play in the arena or whatever.
Yeah, maybe get different streamers, different Hunger Games streamers who put their own little spin on it. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. What about you, Diggins?
I mean, I think gamification is the good way to go, but I think I would do it more in terms of the participants and not the viewers. I think I don't know. I would probably have a lot more arbitrary rules about like while the siren is playing, then you can't attack anybody, but when the light grows green, that means that you can only use your left hand to murder.
Yeah, this is some Taskmaster shit. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That would be good. The problem with that is like if somebody breaks the rule, they still murdered that guy that they murdered. Like,
yeah, but then they get immediately shot.
Sure, but it would just fuck with the flow of it. Like there would be a weird like it wouldn't be a disincentive to following rules, but I'd be like, I guess you'd have to kind of still be like, well, if this guy goes for me and kills me, he will kill himself, so it's not a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. I do think that would be good. I feel like I would want to give people weapons that are kind of fun.
Like what?
Like swords, or something.
Were there not?
Nothing you can shoot. I know, but I would say like everybody gets one sword or something.
Oh, okay.
But like
instead of just having the big pile of weapons in the middle. Yeah,
the pile sucks. Not like sucks, but like I think the way, obviously, like the thing that they never have done in these is some sort of like, what do you call that? Oh God, I can't even remember what you call it in Apex. The hot, like the circle that closes as the thing goes on. That forces you near the other ones.
The death ring, whatever.
Yeah. The storm. Yeah. I would have something like that. I think is something that you would definitely need in one of these. And I guess the question is, how long do you want Hunger Games to be? Do you want it to be like a week-long event? Do you want it to be over in like 4 or 5 hours? Because
I feel like this Hunger Games, I feel like you don't need a storm because, well, again, as is without the terrorist bombing, like it's just an arena, you don't need a storm. But the 74th Hunger Games, you probably do need a storm. Although they kind of do that with the fire, right? In that one. But I don't know, like I like the idea that the Hunger Games is like this multi-day thing. I think that makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
Especially if it's only once a year.
Yeah.
Like, do I really want it over quick? Like, could the Super Bowl be longer? Do I want the Super Bowl to be multiple days? I don't know. Maybe. How would that work?
How would that work? Cool. Like what is in cricket? That goes long sometimes, right? Like that. I mean, what would be fun? What would be a fun element you could add to these? It has been maybe everybody gets to bring one pet or something. So like you could train a tiger, you get to have a tiger there, but also that might get you. But you could also have like an eagle or other helpful animals.
Or 10,000 rats.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. We're like, yeah, I don't know. I think like if I were, okay, so here's what I would do. I don't know if I could do this because the problem is the kids are picked randomly for punishment, but I do think it would be better to draft the kids. Like,
ooh, okay.
You would want kids with gimmicks, one that's really fast, one that's good at jumping, one that can use a sword really well. And then you could kind of make the games about that. And that whole week leading up to the Hunger Games is like really exciting. Because like that's what the Super Bowl is. It's like a 4-hour event, but it's a bunch of stuff before that.
That's true.
And
yeah, that's a good point.
That's the thing that this is missing. They're all essentially just the same guy. Some of them are the more bloodthirsty ones, and some of them are like blind. But besides that, like how the Hunger Games is going to go. There's no X factor. But yeah, I think that would be helpful. I also think, it wouldn't hurt if we just throw a tiger in there. Maybe it doesn't even get to be anybody's tiger, but there's just like some things that can change the thing. We have no control over them, but you might get lucky and the tiger kills your guy. I mean, I definitely wouldn't do what they end up doing, which I'm going to spin the wheel again. Oh, it landed on one of mine. Drone warfare, which is like the drone weaponry or whatever. What the hell was that? Like, they just have shitty technology back then?
Well, it seems like they had drones already, but retrofitting them to bring supplies to the tributes was a very new concept that they only had a couple days to implement.
How would you? That's the first thing we did with our drones. Amazon was like, here's how we'll make them do packages and stuff. I don't understand how they didn't figure that out. But also, like, could you attack the drones?
Like, you mean like literally could you attack them?
Like, if you're one of the kids and someone's sending a water drone to somebody, could you like kind of take your trident and try to kick it out of the air?
I mean, probably.
Anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like that would be unallowed.
So like I would definitely become like a big tech guy if I was. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think the fact that just drone parts are going to be strewn around the arena is something that we could really take advantage of, and make some cool shit. But is water the only thing they can send them?
No, there were other things on that menu. I can't remember what, but
there was food.
Yeah,
that's true. There was food. And is this how it's done now? Is it up to the tributes to decide what, or the mentors to decide what goes to the tribute?
That's less clear because, like, at the one point when Coriolanus sends just like 8 water, it's like, wait, why can't the other guy just send 15 water?
Yeah, I guess like Rachel Zegler, whatever, Lucy Gray has like more money points than anybody else, but also like other characters are getting money points for being popular during the thing. You know what else I would put in my Hunger Games? A live crowd. I would get a whole spectator, just put it in a coliseum, get the like have like Rachel Zegler like pump up the crowd, get the wave going and stuff. That would be fun. Be good energy. But yeah, the drones are weird. They work really well though if you want to kill a bunch of the kids.
Evidently.
Yeah.
It'll distract an entire group of people hunting down your tribute.
It would have been so amazing if at the end of the last Hunger Games movie, when like they're airdropping the package, it's like, oh, the Capitol's come to save us, and it wants to be the bombs. If instead it was like fucking just the drones, just like yeah.
I mean, that might as well.
Why the fuck do we have these?
Yeah. Well, that I did think that was I didn't think this was a particularly funny movie, but that joke did get me when the first drone goes in and Flickerman's like, oh, okay, I guess they suck. That was a cute moment.
I don't think a single one of them works the whole movie.
Some waters land, but besides that, they do. Every drone crashes. You figure you just put the water in, little balls and just toss it in. I don't know. I'm not telling them how to do their job, but
yeah, I don't know how you airdrop.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a front door that you could just go to. Have it send them in little RC cars or something. I don't know why it has to be drones.
Yeah,
but it's pretty cool. And then we learned you can just go in there if you want. Like, you're not supposed to, but you could.
It's cheating or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like that's definitely not cheating. But like that's a really weird part where he kills that kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so pissed if I'd bet money on that kid in Hunger Games.
This fucking asshole.
What happened? They turned it off for maintenance. And now he's dead. It's bullshit. I'd have a conspiracy theory that some of them went in and killed him, which would be what happened, but not for the reason I thought.
He was doing too good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it like, what'd you guys think of the bits in the zoo?
I don't know. I got what they were going for, but I don't know. It didn't grab me really.
In the human zoo?
The human zoo, yeah.
No, chicken, this is giraffe zoo. You don't remember that part? Did you fall asleep during it?
DJ dreamt the giraffe zoo, yeah. Where everybody's teeth fell out and then they had their underwear on. That's a big presentation.
The giraffe underwear?
Yeah. The zoo thing was kind of cool. I don't know. It is just like, what do you guys want the Hunger Games to be? Do you want it to be a bunch of tired, beat up kids falling around or do you want competitors?
Yeah,
like, we gotta give these guys some food. Otherwise, they're gonna suck at this. But I do think that like nobody besides Viola Davis seems to have any vision for what the Hunger Games should be. So
yeah,
I guess they're all just like, I don't know. It's cool when she kills that girl. It was pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
they stabbed that girl in the throat. That was cool.
Pretty savage.
Yeah, do whatever you want. What is this? Fucking Hunger Games? You're going to Hunger Games tomorrow anyway.
No rules, bitch.
Yeah. I spun the wheel again, you guys, and landed on, we're already at the Hunger Games. In fact, we're pretty much at the end of the Hunger Games because this wheel slice just says the shortest Hunger Games.
Yeah, I guess a lot of this was already covered by the like bits we were already talking about, but it's just like I think to your point, Nando, what do you want the Hunger Games to be? Like, do you want it to be a brawl? Do you want it to be like hunting and kind of like a hide and seek? Because like the thing is, right, if it's just a Roman Coliseum, and it's just human savagery, fucking kill whoever you can, grab the weapons and go, then you don't need care packages like water and stuff. Like that shouldn't be part of the plan, right?
That's true. There's no survival aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like, remember, water's your best friend, like right from the first Hunger Games. It's like here, it's like water probably won't come up.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not going to make it. Like, let's be honest.
Honestly, don't drink so much before the Hunger Games because you'll probably have to go to the bathroom 20 minutes in and you'll get murdered. So, you want to cut down on water for that first day.
Take it or leave it.
I feel like, what was the other thing about the Hunger Games? I had another thought. The bands of children were weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I thought was weird about that, but it was weird.
Yeah.
I really cannot. Oh my God. What was weird about it? Hunger Games. I don't know. It was pretty short. I guess, like, do you think, is there some way to like make the Hunger Games like weirder? Like, I feel like
Hunger Games in space.
Yeah, I honestly like, God, I can't even. It's weird that they're called the Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. They're not games. It's the Hunger Battle or something.
It's the Hunger Battle Royale, as covered on a previous episode.
But like, if they were games, if it was like tag and stuff, I'd be like, well, that's interesting. How are they gonna, like, there's no strategies. It's not like Squid Game where like there's different strengths and weaknesses. It's like with the Morphlings, if they showed up at this one, they try to paint themselves like rocks and just be stabbed immediately. Yeah. So that's just no fun.
No, I get it. I think that it. You're less than a decade from the revolution, right? And you're just trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And the Hunger Games was like a joke, but someone took it and fucking ran with it. I don't know. Like it's supposed to be first movie, right? It's an interesting concept insofar of like how the world is fleshed out and how it happens and how it evolves. But like now that you're so deep and you're doing the prequel, it's like you've kind of backed yourself into a corner for how much you can tell the story. And that's where I think I dig the movie the most, because there's like more meat on the bone that you could have kind of gone after, but they don't really go into the kind of machinations of how a lot of this came about, and they definitely could have.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see them come up with these ideas, like brainstorming Hunger Games like parts. I also think it's weird because Rachel Zegler comes out kind of fully formed as like Lucy Gray.
Yes.
And Katniss kind of took way too long to learn the lessons of the Hunger Games. I want one in the middle where we do a little My Fair Lady kind of, where Coriolanus kind of teaches her how to do Hunger Games, like crowd work. Because I think that could be a movie, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, you're right that there's something about the Lucy Gray coming out. It's like, I don't take shit from no one. You want to take me, you're going to have to come get it. You can't take from anything. I don't want to lose anyway. Come on.
Yeah.
I know, but like that's the energy. And I don't know. It that kept me up to the movie's credit.
And she
didn't fall asleep then.
And she's already singing like when they start.
Yeah.
Like, that does have, I feel like that has to be something that he coaxes out of her or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like a strategy that no one's ever tried.
Yeah.
I also think, okay, so here's how I'd change the Hunger Games. My big change. You would start with a weapon, but you would get points based on how much people liked you in this like little opening pageant thing. So like Lucy Gray would start with like a humongous axe or something because she's like really popular. And if you're like a piece of shit or something, you get like a big ball and chain like tied to you or something like that. Like,
okay, sure.
It's like a reality show, like Big Brother for a week where everybody has to live in the house and not kill each other. Okay. And then everybody starts with some sort of like either help or hindrance. Because then it's like, can Lucy Gray use, a weapon? Probably not, but it's good that she got one instead of being, tied to the floor like that big giant kid who sucks, who everyone hates.
Fair. Okay. I can get on board with this.
Yeah, I
can get on board with this.
We need something like that to balance it out a little bit. Yeah. The other way you do it is like a Royal Rumble, but you can't do that because then whoever shows up last is going to win. But like if it's
how that plays out.
Yeah, something like that could be fun. Do you think you would watch it? Like not just would watch it, but like would you get into it at all?
I'm a terrible person, so I would watch.
Do Do you think
'Cause
if this year you'd be into Lucy Gray, like you'd be on that train, or you'd be like, she's too popular, I don't really like her?
Yeah, no, I'm too much of a contrarian, right?
Mm.
Now, I do like an underdog story, but that's the other thing. Like, she's never really positioned as the underdog because she always knows she's going to win. And it's like, well, that's a little bit too much, right?
Yeah, DJ, you'd be like, I think that kid with the rabies, he's my guy.
Yeah.
I really want to see him succeed.
He's a real hero.
He's got a lot of moxie, that one, wandering around in the corner. That's my guy. What about you, Diggins?
I don't know. I mean, it's what am I trying to say here?
Something cool, I guess.
Like, would you, if you were watching this one as a competitor or as a spectator, and you're not like ready, you're not like, you'd want to cancel the Hunger Games, but at the same time, you'd be like, but I'm gonna watch it because I don't want to be left out at work tomorrow. So,
Right? Yeah.
do you think you'd be on Team Lucy
Gray?
Gray, or you'd be like, Jesus Christ, it's fucking singing? Can we be done? Like, this was not supposed to be a singing event.
Well, she doesn't sing a lot in the Hunger Games itself. She does it twice. Once to her partner, and then at the end to not get killed by snakes.
Right, but then she did it during the reaping, which I don't know if the reaping is televised for everybody or just the Capitol gets to watch it, and then she does it during her little pageant in the beginning of the before the Hunger Games starts. So by then you'd be like, I'll take one song maybe. But
I think I would have been pro Lucy Gray just because she seemed very winsome. She seemed very winning. I would have been like, I'd like it if she didn't get murdered by a trident through the chest.
Yeah. Speaking of
that's savage, by the way. That is.
Yeah, speaking of the Hunger Games, what do you guys think of like the actual Hunger Games scenes where they
did feel like more violent than in the previous movies.
Yeah, way more.
They went for those big long take like action scenes where everybody's just jumping into frame and then following Lucy. I think those more or less worked.
Yeah, I think so too.
It would be really hard
just watching that one girl shove a trident slowly into someone's chest was pretty brutal.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
How about that guy that protested? That was kind of cool. The flag.
Sejanus?
No.
Oh God, what was that guy's name? They kept calling him something.
I don't know. He probably had Anus as his name too. It was probably Arlie Anus.
All the anuses.
Like that. Yeah.
So many anuses.
That's like a really popular sub. It's like, everybody's half the names end with that. It's like Anne. It's like, Mary Ann Diane. It's like Sejanus, John Anus.
It's like enough.
Yeah. That's right, DJ. So anyway, you guys, I just checked the news. There's a bunch of news that happened just now. Do you want to hear it?
I would love to hear that. Like just now. Just
now.
now.
I was just looking at the news sites, and they apparently had for multiple days just kept back all the news they received so they could dump it right
at this moment.
Who would believe it?
It's pretty insane. So the biggest one, not the biggest one, but the most important one that I'm glad we get to say on this podcast is apparently the Looney Tunes thing is not happening. They say it was a mistake.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was a mistake in that they got a lot of pushback from it and don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I definitely trust what WB says about their intentions right now.
Yeah. They're very brave. Did you see that? That also just dropped now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, David Zaslav.
It takes a lot
boy.
of courage to shelve a finished movie.
Mm-hmm. Especially one that's good, like the Coyote one, that one. It's like, that's really hard. But
it was a truly heroic tax write-off we did.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Incredible stuff. So I'm glad we got to say that. Other news. I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Nicolas Cage when he was saying that they didn't know what Superman was going to be doing in the Flash movie.
Nice.
This is pretty good.
Nice.
He's basically like, I was there and I was on set and they told me I was looking at a planet that's dying. And then I watched the movie and there was a spider or something. And I was like, what is this?
I love that.
Yeah, good for him.
That's pretty much the energy I got from that scene. Yeah,
yeah, right. I'm glad he didn't act too much, He didn't say on words like, oh no, a planet is dying. And then they had to ADR like, oh no, a spider or something. But I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty good. But the biggest news, I don't know if you guys saw that. Well, about the biggest news. It can't be bigger than that, but pretty big. You got a release date for a movie December 20th, 2024. And no,
That's when
is
Aquaman comes out.
well, that's a year after Aquaman comes out. 2024.
No, no.
A likely
Yeah,
story.
Oh, yeah,
Diggins
that's
is
true.
maintaining that Aquaman will come out even after it's actually come out, or it never came out, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I could
Just like Fan Four Stick
There
never
it
came
is.
out.
I could see a world where Aquaman never comes out, but that is not it. And no, that's also not, because this is when because a couple of movies I think in the last 5 minutes got release dates. Like Jordan Peele's new movie I think is around that time too. The Robert Eggers Nosferatu movie is Christmas of next year as well. But this, perhaps a villain more sinister than Nosferatu.
Mr. Sinister?
Even more sinister than him. More,
Impossible.
I would say more extreme than him. One of the most long-awaited villains in the history of cinema. You guys want to take a guess? He's finally going to make his big screen debut, December 20th, 2024.
So there's never been a movie with this villain before.
They have slightly tiny cameoed in a movie before, but they have not been the main character or like a actual speaking character like they're going to be in this next one.
They're finally making the Shazam movie with Mr. Mind.
No, never.
Oh man!
I'll give you a hint. The bit of the like they put this in a tweet with like a clapper, I guess, that says the name of the movie, and then a picture of this character's shoes, because that'll help us identify them. Like I said, this is a bad guy. This is as bad as they get. You know, he's got a gun.
Ronald McDonald.
He's got a motorcycle.
Obviously, if it's going to be a McDonald's movie about a bad guy, it's going to be the Hamburglar.
Or the Grimace.
Come on.
The Grimace is a bad guy too.
Oh, Grimace used to be a bad guy. They've softened the Grimace.
They have. I mean, he's right up there with the Hamburglar in terms of like, you know, designed to look like a criminal. It is, of course, Shadow the Hedgehog. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie is
you know, I think it's misleading to tell us that he's a bad
call
guy.
him a bad guy. I don't.
Shadow the Hedgehog is a complicated figure.
He's a complicated figure, but I would say he's a bad guy in the same way that like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are rude party dudes or whatever.
Okay.
He was pitched, I'm sure, as bad Sonic, but with the sexy kind of like bad, you know.
Yeah, after Knuckles was fired from that job. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they put a little thing out so that you see everything but his face, as if that hides something. Like maybe the face is going to look like Timothy Chalamet or something. But I have a feeling it's going to look like Shadow the Hedgehog face. Still no actor cast in that.
Oh,
but,
Chris Pratt, right?
Well, yeah, that's actually probably a good chance that it would be him. Honestly, he could be I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like he could, like I feel like he could be a bad guy, like in that kind of cheesy Shadow the Hedgehog way. I could see it working.
Well, but who plays off Ben Schwartz the best? That's the question.
Him from Parks and Rec, right? Like they have chemistry. I was going to say
we can only assume that it's going to be Aziz Ansari.
I mean, to be fair, we don't know. I mean, I would assume Shadow. I guess we've never seen a female one of these like little guys in this Sonic movie universe yet, so we don't know if they gender swap Shadow, if it would have boobs, but. What is her name? April from
Lisa?
That show.
Oh, April.
Yeah, she Aubrey Plaza, I feel like could have good Shadow energy, but
I mean, if we're going purely off of who hates Jean-Ralphio the most in Parks and Rec, it's probably Nick Offerman.
That's true. Oh, that would be funny. There's so many guys. There's so many great opportunities for Shadow castings, and we'll find out probably soon, because if this movie comes out in a year, you're going to have to start, I guess, like filming it. But this guy's not on set. Maybe they are. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll give him a gun in the movie?
I hope so.
So, like, I would say no, because it's a kid's movie. But they had all that gun, like the organization gun. And, like, those guys all had guns.
Right.
So why not, you know?
Everybody gets a gun.
As long as it's, like, one of those humongous guns that's, like, you know, as big as him. Like, cause his gun was like kind of silly looking. It didn't look like if he picks up like an actual pistol, then I'll be like, this is a little weird. But if it's a cartoon gun, then I'm fine with it.
Puts up a photorealistic Glock.
Yeah, this is my Shadow the Hedgehog. Grab this AR-15. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? Yeah, I feel like even like didn't Adam Pally as the cop try to shoot Robotnik at one point in one of these movies with like his just like sidearm? Plus, yeah, James Marsden's a cop in these. Everybody's got guns. Everybody wants Shadow and Sonic, maybe. I don't know, but we'll find out. I'm very excited. But that'll be a year from now. We'll see that movie. Hopefully. We'll probably have to do a 3-way, Jordan Peele elevated horror / Robert Eggers, sad, sexy, Willem Dafoe Nosferatu or whatever. Then Shadow the Hedgehog. It's going to be pretty good.
If anyone is going to not make Nosferatu sexy, it's Robert Eggers.
I don't know, man. You saw what happened to that mermaid thing in the lighthouse. Very sexy, sexual things. It was a good that was a good movie. You guys, we got to talk about Hunger Games, the one that we're still talking about because it is.
Oh today. Yeah, the Hunger Games.
You guys, you remember how it kind of felt like we were done talking about Hunger Games because we got to the end of the Hunger Games?
It really did, yeah. And that was my chief complaint because that was all the movie could keep me awake for.
Exactly. Well, there's a whole other bit of Hunger Games pod that we have to do. We all forgot that we have to do more.
Oh my gosh. I looked
and there's a whole other half of wheel. So I'm going to spin the wheel. We're going to talk about what is Act 3. Did these have names? I can't remember.
They did. I can't quite remember what they were called, but they did split it into part 1, part 2, and part 3.
I think part one was like, I want to say it was part 1 was first half, part 2 is second half, and part 3 is too much. That was what
I think it
felt like.
I think it was divided into what he was doing. So I think it was like part 1, the mentor, or
yes,
maybe part 2 was the mentor, and part 1 was like the student. And I think part 3 was the soldier.
That sounds right. Yeah, that does feel right. Speaking of that, a spin the wheel landed on, I don't know, someone's Diggins maybe. Look at our hairless boy.
That was me.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
They shave him. The only hair on his entire human body, as we saw in that shower scene at the start of the movie. They shave it all off when he's going on, because as I said in my summary, which of course we all remember.
Yep.
Yes.
Dean Highsmith gets him sent off to be a peacekeeper because of all the cheating he did in the Hunger Games. And so, like all militaries, they, for reasons that are not entirely clear to me, demand that your hair must be dead.
They want to enforce conformity and make you feel like you're less of a person. I don't know. Maybe something like that.
It probably is that.
That's how it's always portrayed in movies like this. It's always very sad. They're never like, all right, here comes your fun little Navy haircut or whatever.
Yeah, you think that there's ever like the general chiefs of staff get together and are like, so this is the 50th year in a row where every movie about a soldier, the scene where their hair is getting shaved off is depicted as a terrible tragedy and something that makes them sad. Should we stop doing it?
Yeah. Or just like, have some puppies around. So if we have to show this scene, everybody will be like, man, that sucks for Jake Gyllenhaal. But on the other hand, he does get to hang out with all these puppies, like they got to make it a little bit nicer. You put it in like a room that isn't just concrete. Use nice trimmers, fancy trimmers. Have a guy, you know what it is? They need to have the guy that Stan Lee is in the Thor cameo. It's just like a silly little old man doing it. Then you can't hate it. But you guys, did this character look like anyone to you? Let's all say it. So we can get it out of the way.
Okay.
But the hair, what do you think the hairless boy looked like?
Well, obviously he looked like Jonah Hill from 21 Jump Street.
Oh, he did look like Jonah Hill from 21 Jump Street. You're right. Forgot about that.
Now, and yeah, if I remember, there's a reference in 21 Jump Street where they call him Not So Slim Shady. But
that is right.
I can't figure out what that's in reference to. I'm not
really.
Well, remember, Slim was what they called Will Smith in the Men in Black movies. That was one of the names that Tommy Lee Jones used to make him feel bad. He didn't have to shave his head. I guess the Men in Black are cops. They're not supposed to be military.
Right.
They burned his fingerprints off, though. That's
hardcore.
Better, maybe, or worse. Who knows?
Those grow back, right? So he had to do that every few months, probably.
Oh, that's
really
horrible.
It's weird.
Yeah, you can't permanently burn off your fingerprints.
Well, you can.
Unless you... I don't think you can.
The MIB might be able to with their alien technology, although it just made it hot. Like, I feel like that probably wasn't some fancy alien stuff. That was just a toaster that they hooked up to a big bulb or something. But
What if it was just a prank? They weren't even burned in the fingerprints. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, in that scene, he like it happens to him, and he's kind of surprised, but it's like, oh, this is hot. Like, you guys didn't tell him, but I don't know.
Well,
but yeah, he looks like Jonah Hill in that movie in the prequel bits,
right?
Like flashback bits of
Not
21
so Slim
Jump
Shady.
Street. Not so Slim Shady.
In reference to Will Smith.
Yeah. It's a weird look for this guy. I'm not gonna lie.
I think they should have leaned into the so bits aside, I think they should have leaned into the Eminem-ness of it and haven't been like, man, I really miss my mom's spaghetti. That's
grandmom's spaghetti or great aunt's spaghetti.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to what could have been a rap battle if he got his shit together and really decided to challenge Lucy Gray for supremacy.
That's true.
But we could have seen it,
Yeah.
Yeah, what if the last third of the movie was actually about the coming of rap to District 12 and how it defeats and supplants country music?
Yeah.
And then we get fast forward in a post-credit scene to the original Hunger Games. But instead of singing The Hanging Tree, Katniss starts busting out sick rhymes.
Mm-hmm. It's like that song that he did with the puppet. Remember that? Remember that? He had a whole album with like the Triumph the Insult comic dog,
Did he?
Yeah, he did. It was a big deal. It was like the songs were all bad, but they were also like just the lines were like, shake your butt, everybody. It's time to shake your butt like a little dog or something. I don't know.
Huh.
I definitely listened to Eminem enough as a child to know this, but I don't remember what any of it was.
It's very apparent.
You guys are definitely more of an expert in Eminem than I am. So.
Oh yeah.
Why do you say that?
I know lots of Eminem songs.
Because I've literally never listened to him in my entire life.
Really?
You
Have
must
you ever
have
seen 8 Mile?
Accidentally, heard like Lose Yourself.
I've never seen 8 Mile. I'm sure I've heard a song in my life. I have never intentionally listened to an Eminem song in my entire life.
Only unintentionally.
Do you know who the bad guy in 8 Mile is?
Eminem, he's his own worst enemy.
It's true. Yeah, it's the streets, but it's also the Falcon. He's got a fun role in those. Yeah, he gets dissed by Eminem in the final rap.
Damn.
Yeah.
How did he ever recover from that?
He didn't. That's why he's got That's why Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't really as good. It's because there were really cool lines, but every time he started saying them, he just remembered that time Eminem called him a little baby or something. And instead he said weird lines that weren't very interesting. But you guys, this guy's Eminem in this. They put him in t-shirts too, I feel like, which is like part of the Eminem look.
I think when they're off duty, which I'm pretty sure off duty usually means that you're allowed to, like within reason, do whatever you want, right? But they all still wear like little uniforms that are just like, these are our off duty uniforms.
Yeah, they're weird. Maybe it's something that you do it in your first year because you want to seem like you're into it to like prove to your bosses that you're a cool army guy. But then by like second and third year, you like don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, also this is the Hunger Games future. So like maybe, it's not the U.S. military. Maybe it works differently. Who can say? I
mean, it seems like if anything, it's more laissez-faire military. Well, I don't know how this works, but like he was able to bribe his way into the district he wanted. That seems like the kind of thing that the military don't let you do, right?
I'm sure if you had enough money, you could bribe some. I mean, you don't even have to openly bribe, Nando. If you have rich parents, it's not like you're ever going to be sent to a bad posting.
That's true. But well, this one's a bad one because this is Appalachia, right? We learn because I spun the wheel again, and it landed on one of Diggins's, I think, clandestine meetings in unlocked barns, where they have barns and stuff.
Yeah, but they have a big barn where Lucy Gray does all of her concerts, which is cool, which makes sense if you're going for this kind of like backcountry Appalachia sort of flavor. Then Lucy Gray talking like Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump, then like it makes sense to me that would have it. The part that blows my mind is that 20 feet away from the rip-roaring hootenanny going down in the main floor of the barn, you have like a meeting between people where they know if any word of this gets out to anyone, they will be swiftly executed by the state.
Yeah.
20 feet away in an unlocked room. next to what I have to assume is literally every person in town.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be because he goes to this barn and Lucy Gray just happens to be there, right? Like, I don't think they go there because she's going to be there. I think he goes there hoping he'll see her, which means
they
that,
go
like,
there because it's, I think, the one place where there's like music and drinking in this entire area.
That's true. But then the other thing is, yeah, the cops are there. Like, you don't postpone your little meeting just in case cops get kind of antsy, you know?
Or like, you know that this is the hot spot where most people in town are going to be. Why not have your meeting literally anywhere else?
Yeah.
Some people like the danger, Diggins. They like the thrill of but what if we get caught? Ooh.
Maybe Lucy Gray is just such a hot act that it's like, I don't want to miss the Lucy Gray show, but I do want to give away the guns. So let's just see if we can make those two things the same thing.
And and like, again, just even if you just locked the door, because both Coriolanus and Lucy Gray just walk in.
Yeah.
They're lucky it was two people who like understand what's happening and the gravity of the situation, and like could be conceivably considered, you know, like not innocent bystanders or something. You could have a dude who just like doesn't know where the bathroom is. He comes in and sees you with a bunch of guns and is like, oh,
my bad. My bad.
Yeah, I guess you have to kill that guy then if that happens. And maybe that does happen. Maybe there's like a Jack the Ripper kind of legend in District 12 that's just people that accidentally wandered into the gun meeting room and then had to be murdered on site. Like a cryptid or something that walks the forest, but it's really just this room.
It's just this room where they keep having meetings about all the guns they have.
Yeah. They do have a lot of guns, I guess.
Like 3, which I guess is a lot.
Yeah, that's bad. That's more than those guys that stormed that fort had in that last movie, which was 0.
Yeah, good point.
Like, this would have really helped them get not all massacred in the big storming.
Yeah, probably would have like cut their casualties in half to have just 3 guns.
Oh my God, it would have been humongous for them. But yeah, they what do we think of this scene, the meeting and stuff? I don't know. It's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
I do have to I mean, maybe it's part of her character. Not that we spend nearly enough time with her to know this, but like, I do have to question the wisdom of the mayor's daughter turning to the people full of room who she knows have guns and going, I'm going to turn you all in so you get executed. And you know that I will do it because I already kind of did this to Lucy Gray. So this isn't an empty threat. I want to be very clear. This is a real thing I'm going to do. And then turning her back to all of them.
Yeah, she was very brave. Well, that's the kind of person that also doesn't lock the door to the gun meeting. Like, just thinks she's invincible, you know?
Yeah, good point.
She's made it this far, so why should she learn from it?
I also have to question, in addition to everything that Diggins said, very, very true. I have just questioned the wisdom of who's Coriolanus's friend, the other anus?
Janus or something?
Sejanus.
Yeah.
Just his deal. Like, he's the son of the president, right?
No, he's the son of a rich guy.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
but not the president. Okay,
There is a president's son that they do talk about at points,
and
I
he
think,
dies, right, or something?
Yeah, or the president dies. I can't remember. One of them.
No, the president's son dies.
The president's son does die. How does he die?
He's in the arena when it explodes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
his name was probably like, Steve Anus or something. I don't remember, but something like that.
Not Stevanus.
Yeah.
He was our favorite.
He's one of those Anus brothers. There were 3 of them, it turns out.
So you're Sejanus, you're rich, you're royalty, everything's great, and all you do is just bitch about, the Hunger Games are so unfair. Oh my God.
We murder all these children, some of whom I used to know because I came from the districts. Wow. I think murdering children is wrong.
Yeah, this Sejanus guy, man. What's his problem? Why
a
isn't
pain.
he cool?
He's such a pain. Like, enjoy the fact that you're rich. My God.
Yeah,
just abandon all of your morals and enjoy that you're rich like every other rich person in real life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sejanus supposed to be a relatable character? I'm like, this guy's a little bitch.
Wow.
Not relatable
like,
at all.
I sit there watching, like, if I was rich, I would condone all the child murder in the world.
I'm just saying, I don't find Sejanus very relatable. I think he's a little whiner. That's what I think of Sejanus.
He is kind of a little whiner. Like, I don't think he's a particularly cool character in that, like, I do feel for Coriolanus where he's like, dude, shut the fuck up, stop. Like, you're gonna get us all killed. And so he does. I mean, it's mostly Coriolanus' fault too, but he ain't helping his case. This guy was gonna get caught eventually. He's not very good at this.
I gotta say, like, I do think Sejanus is a classic case of he has good intentions, but he clearly doesn't have any idea what the fuck he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, his attempts to conspiracize are in fact very bad.
Yeah, he should have done what Coriolanus did and then worked on the inside for 90 years and then died at the very end of the Hunger Games.
Well,
That's the real strat.
I'm not saying Coriolanus's methods, although I think the sincerity of his desire to end the Hunger Games is questionable anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I feel like at the end there, he plots all of his sedition pretty much in the open by, like, whispering with District 12 people where other cops can see him.
Yeah.
And he's really lucky that the only one who seems to notice or do anything about it is Coriolanus, because Coriolanus at least doesn't turn him in right away.
Right, and you feel like if Coriolanus wasn't able to do the bird thing, he probably wouldn't have told anyone. He only did the bird thing because he was like, he gave him a little bit of deniability to, not feel like he totally executed his friend.
Right.
But like,
and a way to send it directly to Dr. Gall,
right.
So he could, ingratiating yourself with your commander is one thing. Ingratiating yourself with someone back in the Capitol is another.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Who plays this commander? That's like an actor, right? That's like a guy.
I mean, most of the people in this movie are actors.
And guys.
That's true. The snakes aren't actors. They're CGI. And
That's true.
I'm pretty sure Viola Davis isn't a real person. She's CGI as well. She's too busy with Suicide Squads and stuff.
Yeah,
she movies.
She has to be Amanda Waller to the end of time.
Yeah, they're giving her a show called Waller. And we're all just like, whatever, man. But yeah, let me say
so.
Ballad of Songbirds. Because I did not look this up, and like I forgot this character even existed, but I was like, that's somebody I kind of recognize. I don't know. It's going to be borderline impossible to find. So I'll do this for the next,
I'm looking at it right
minutes.
now, and they do. IMDb does helpfully seem to list this stuff by order of appearance.
Yeah.
So it's towards the bottom. Oh, it's Bern Gorman.
Is it? Okay, yeah, that's right. This is the first time I've seen him in a while where he hasn't been a little weirdo or a big nerd. I'm like, cool, good for you. Where is he on this list though? I don't see him. He's
near the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because it's an order of appearance. And he's one of the
yeah.
last characters to show up.
Commander Hoff. Cool. Oh yeah, he was in Ghosted. Ugh.
Does that upset you?
Oh wait, who was he in Ghosted?
English cabbie.
He was the cab driver who's like, sounds like you're stalking this girl, mate.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
And you're like, thanks, cabbie. You're right. He is stalking this girl.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of Sejanus' whole deal? How he got killed and stuff?
It is bad, and I hate him. It's been very clear.
Yeah. Well, you hate him because he didn't kill more kids or wasn't more involved. Yeah.
Yeah, you think that he should have joined Coriolanus in making sure that the child murder happened for another 65 years.
Obviously.
If you were in Sejanus' position, you would have gone into the Hunger Games, but only so you could kill some of the kids yourself,
Ooh.
You would have been like, I got to go in there and get my hands on this hot child murder. I can't just watch.
I can't live
stand idly by.
Anymore.
Yeah. I know where they're all hiding. Let's go get them. I did think this scene was kind of good of him getting all hanged.
Of him getting all hanged?
This is an effective scene.
It's a monster. You're
didn't like
monsters!
it.
You're all monsters!
It sucks for him, man. He got hanged.
I would
It's gotta
hate
be
it
a
if I
real
got
bummer.
hanged.
I think
I would
most
be really
people
upset
would.
about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's how it usually plays out.
Yeah. And especially if it was because of a bird. If I ever found that out, I would be like, Jesus, a bird? Not even like a mammal? Ugh. It's the lamest
doesn't-
animal.
He does not seem to realize at the end there that Coriolanus sold him up the river.
No,
kind of-
yeah, it's totally ignorant to it.
I feel like there's a second, I don't remember this super well, but maybe I'm imagining it because I think this would be how you would do this, where like he tries to get Coriolanus help, Coriolanus doesn't, and he has like a second of going like, oh fuck, he was part of it. But
He is yelling for Coriolanus the whole time, being like,
But that's
help
because
me,
it's his only friend.
I don't want to die.
Yeah. It's his only friend, so
Yeah.
lucky for him too that he didn't like, I mean, lucky for Coriolanus, Coriolanus, that Sejanus wasn't like, come on, Coriolanus, my friend who was in on it with me, help me, use the guns we need to do the revolution now. 'Cause he totally could have done that by accident. Fucked them all over.
because also after Sejanus dies, there's still a little bit of the worries because, right, like they might find the guns.
Yeah, so the guns, they have like DNA evidence still, I think. So if they find the guns, they'll know that Coriolanus shot them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he is the one who killed the mayor's daughter, which is the main crime going on here.
Yeah, which that's a lesson, Gotta get the DNA off the guns. It's like, clandestine barn murder, lesson number 1. But this guy's a fresh little kid who doesn't know any of the rules. So
I did think for a second that, because at the hanging, they play the bird audio.
oh yeah.
I guess they sent the bird back. I don't know. And for a second, I thought they were going to keep playing it till we heard Coriolanus and they were going to out him as being the guy who turned him in. I was like, I don't know, it seems pretty rude to have someone who helped you and let everyone know that he's a traitor who betrays his friends. But then,
Yeah.
this is an evil government that kills children, so I guess I wouldn't put it past them. But they don't do that. They're actually very nice to their good little traitor boy.
Yeah, and they're gonna give him a little promotion. He's gonna go to District 2, I think, or something.
Yeah, that happened before he turned in Sejanus, though.
Oh, that was before. Okay, yeah.
Because the commander knew Burn Gorman knew Coriolanus' dad, and it's like, I liked your dad, and I don't care what Dean Highsmith wants, so I'm going to promote you.
Everything's going so well for Coriolanus.
Right?
He
Real
just
Mary
can't
Sue,
stop
if you ask
failing
me.
up. He really is a Mary Sue,
Well, you're allowed to keep failing up if you're the villain, I think. I think that's
true,
generally
yeah.
allowed.
Speaking of that, I spun the wheel again. Last thing on the wheel before 2 others, but last thing story-wise. Time's running out. I guess he's evil now. This is, I think, DJ's?
It is DJ's, because DJ is the only one here who didn't realize he was evil the whole time.
No. Okay, like in the beginning of the movie, he just seems like this, like not hapless, but just like he's just a guy. Like, yeah, he's poor. He saw through the war, and oh my god, all that stuff's bad. But like at the end of the movie, like because this is 1.5 movies, I feel like there is a rush to be like, well, the audience knows he ends as the evil president, so we got to make him the evil president. Shit, how do we make him evil? And then there's this like rush to make him evil. I thought.
I mean, I kind of see what you're saying in terms of like the arc was kind of like, I don't know how to describe this. Like, I feel like the relationship stuff with Lucy exists to kind of fake humanize him a little bit. And that's obviously like kind of the point, but also it is a little bit convenient where it's like he does his like, I guess it's that by the end of the movie, he's not just like revealed to be bad. He's getting bad guy music and like bad guy walking down the hallway like scenes. And that did feel a little bit much for this guy, but I don't know. He's do you think he would have done any helping with the revolution if the revolution like started?
I don't know. Like I feel like it's the weird thing with this character where because we know there's an end point, but he has to be likable during the movie because he's like, I don't know, you're kind of rooting for him during the Hunger Games portion, right? Up into and including the child murder. But it's like, well, how do we have to stop having being a character to root for? So pivot. So he just goes crazy. Is that what the snakebite is? Is the whole reason we had 75 years of Hunger Games is because of a goddamn snakebite?
I mean, it didn't help.
I mean, again,
apparently.
I think if you carefully examine the movie, it turns out that he was an opportunistic, shall we say, snake pretty much the whole
Oh.
time. And that it wasn't a last minute turn so much as Lucy Gray realizing that that's what he's been the whole time.
But it's like everyone around, like in the scene where he, like, all of the good ideas Hunger Games are actually his. Like, it's not like he didn't do what his dad did, where someone else was like, oh, I have a good idea for the Hunger Games. We'll have sponsors. We'll make it likable. And he's like, oh, I'll have that idea. And then steals the idea. His partner tries to steal it from him. So
Yeah.
he's being positioned as like the wronged party.
Yeah, how
wronged
dare
party.
she?
How dare she steal the ideas about how to make sure the child murder keeps happening?
Yeah.
But like, from the storytelling perspective, it's like when she dips into the snake pit, it's like, yes, she got her just desserts. She tried to steal an idea. Like,
She tried to steal the child murder ideas.
Yeah.
Look, she's also bad, DJ. More than one person can be bad.
it's just, it's weird. It just feels weird.
And it's the same kind of moment where like he's like, he knows she's fucked and he just lets it go because he's like, I gotta do this. This is how you survive. I mean, I guess you could say the one thing you could say for him is like he's bad. You like, I guess you could write a version of this movie, not write a version of this movie. You could imagine a version of this movie up until maybe the last third, where like he is just doing this because of his, cousin. Is that what we determined she was?
Tigress? Yeah.
Tigress, yeah, his cousin, and needing money and stuff. And it's like, I don't want to do Hunger Games, but I gotta if I want my family to survive or something. So like I could see maybe for the first bit of the movie thinking that, but I don't know.
I should say the book, apparently, I have not read this book, but I looked up stuff after watching this movie as part of my continuing efforts to ruin this podcast by doing research.
Nice.
Mhm.
Apparently in the book, as you hear his thoughts, it is much clearer that like he's a piece of shit from the beginning. That like all of his thoughts are pretty much like, how can I make sure that this situation benefits me the most?
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess part of it too is like there's the whole like the Lucy Gray romance thing in the beginning. You're like, oh, this is fake or something. Like she's using him, and then by the end, it's like they're both kind of actually into it, at least a little, or at least as much as like it seems it's convenient, for him. But where was I going with this? Yeah, I could see a version of the movie where like at the end they do just, the whole Hunger Games wraps up and he just claps his hands and like, all right, well, go home. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, I wasn't. That was just part of the Hunger Games thing. Yeah.
Right.
I wanted a win because look at all the extra pudding I get today. So, have fun.
I mean, I think it's pretty inarguable that if he had not been exiled, he would not have gone after her.
Yeah.
Like, when they're talking at the end, she's like, don't you think it's so great out here in the country? And he's like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to the capital.
Capital's got like stuff. It's awesome, man.
It's got stuff.
Parties and streets and stuff. It's so good. You're gonna love it.
Like, I think the movie is putting in the work to be like, hey man, he only cares about this stuff in so much as, it's convenient for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. I just think it felt like a rush job at the end. I
do think this movie is too long and could have benefited from some editing, as I've said multiple times in this podcast. You all remember.
Oh yeah. Over the course of the several hours of this single
earlier
podcast.
today.
Yeah.
Yes.
All happening today. Yeah.
But I don't know. I know a lot of people say the ending felt rushed. I kind of felt like the ending was the only appropriately paced part, that the rest of it was a little too bloated.
Look, I'll have the unpopular opinion. It should have been 2 movies.
No, I agree. It should have been 2 movies. I don't necessarily think the second half, or I don't think I kind of agree with Diggins that I think the last third was paced well enough, but I think that still could have been its own movie with like more stuff. Not necessarily like, I don't know, just like more. I wouldn't have minded seeing more of that evolution. And then I do think you could have ended this first movie, like a first version of this movie at Act 2, maybe with a little bit more of like a resolution. But like I could see the vision of that working.
But could you see the WandaVision of it working?
Yeah, I could see it being rushed at kind of the end. Is that what we're talking about again? It just kind of comes together at the
a
end.
lot of firing purple beams at each other at the very end, kind of undercutting the entirety.
That
of
would have been nice. Honestly, a couple more beams. Yeah, what is the ending of this? Oh yeah, in the ending he poisons Peter Dinklage and stuff because he poisons guys. That's his one thing.
He should have given him a goddamn rose.
Yeah, why didn't he do that?
Yeah.
Well, that would have been too obvious. Instead, he just poisoned the drugs he likes to take so that he forgets that he did the Hunger Games.
Do you think when what's the name of the person who writes these movies or books?
Suzanne Collins.
Yeah. Do you think when Suzanne Collins was writing the first book, where I guess it would have been like the second book, whenever the first time is that Coriolanus Snow kills the guy and gives him a rose. Do you think she was watching the Daredevil movie from 2005 where Kingpin does that?
Ooh, yeah.
And she was like, "That's a really cool thing for a villain to do, is kill the guy and give him a little rose."
I want that in my movie.
Yeah. We got two more things on the wheel. Like I said, they're not anti, but they're like outside of the movie. First one, we haven't done this in a while. Is it woke? How woke is this movie?
Ooh, how woke is
it's
this
a tough
movie?
one.
We had a lot of trouble with these movies in general with this question.
Yeah.
I mean, in this movie, it's about an evil dictator, so it can't be woke, right?
But they make him handsome, maybe.
Can be evil. It can be woke if the reason he's an evil dictator is like he thinks that gender is a binary.
Well, you could also have it be like I could see a version of this story where like Lucy Gray, turns him down, and that turns him into an evil dictator.
Ooh,
like kind of in a Andrew Tate, like, oh, the women, you can't trust them kind of way. But that's not quite what it is.
No, it's, if anything, it's the opposite.
Yeah, I would say this movie glorifies well, I don't know. It's anti-drone, is that woke these days? The Amazon.
Well, it doesn't think drones are evil. It thinks drones are incompetent.
Yeah, actually, it just hopes they get a little better.
It wants what's best for the drones.
Yeah, is there anything particularly woke about it?
I mean,
it thinks child murder's bad.
Yeah,
that's kind of woke.
I don't know. Oh, is this our first? Maybe it's in the middle. It's not woke or not, or no. What's the thing you said? It doesn't have to be not woke.
It doesn't have to be not. It doesn't have to be anti woke. It just has to not be woke.
Right. Okay. I don't think this movie is woke.
I would say it's on the woker side. I think it's trending towards woke, but I would not say it is a woke movie the same way that, say, I don't know, like Beauty and the Beast remake is woke in that way.
I think what it is you can interpret these movies in a woke way, and I might even argue that they are the author intended way to interpret these movies, but they're also like loose and vague enough that you can easily interpret them in a not woke way. Yeah. And like that keeps it from really being woke.
Interesting.
Right. Like any of these movies where, especially because Coriolanus in like first half of the movie, when he has his hair and stuff, is played as kind of like, not quite like a fancy boy, but like, the way that they characterize this guy as just not specifically anyone could make you watch it and go, see, that's supposed to be, that's supposed to be a Donald Trump kind of kid, or that's supposed to be, that's a young Joe Biden, if you ask me. And then you can kind of read it as a revolution against whoever that guy in power you don't like is. Whereas I think a movie where he's slightly more defined and you're able to see like, oh, it's Reagan or something, then you're like, oh yeah, that is woke. And maybe that's just like the fault of Coriolanus Snow not being a really, like, I don't know, like this in this movie, at least not having a whole lot of like stuff in his heart. Like he just doesn't have like a lot. I guess he doesn't have a lot of characteristics besides handsome and tall, blonde. Right. I mean, country music is good. That's something.
I mean, what more do you need than being tall? Being tall is the highest virtue.
It really is. You can go so far. The only negative is I guess tallness doesn't really hurt. Like you can get your neck stabbed at the zoo if you have more neck potentially for stabbing, that is a negative.
Well, you being tall does not necessarily mean you have a big neck. You can be tall with a little neck.
I feel like proportionally on average, taller people have slightly longer necks. And it's just that like little extra inch that is what it takes for the bottle to get you, they say.
Yeah. If that girl had been just a little shorter, she could have just been stabbed in the chin, and then she would have lived.
Yep. And good for her. Not good for her. Well, that would have been good for her as opposed to getting stabbed and dying. Again, my favorite scene in this movie. That scene was pretty crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't say this movie's that woke, but that's fine, I guess.
It's fine if movies aren't woke. They don't have to be, as long as they're not anti-woke.
As long as they're not that. I mean, sometimes it's great if they're anti-woke because it's hilarious, but...
I mean, yes, true.
Yeah. Spin the wheel, last thing. Could Nando win this Hunger Games? I don't know. Do you guys think you could?
No. I could not win these Hunger Games.
I'm on record as believing that I could never win or defeat anything ever through all of time and space. So, no, I would definitely be slaughtered immediately, probably by one of the careers.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely couldn't win if part of it is just not getting eaten by the snakes. Like, if we get that far into it, I'm pretty fucked. But
if part of having to win is convincing Coriolanus Snow that I love him, then I also will probably lose.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. I also don't think I'd be great at the American Idol part of this, where like you try to get tribute money and stuff. Although,
you have no practice at being a public-facing person who relies on the donations from anonymous other people.
Yeah, but not based on charm, and like sympathy. I don't think I could get it as quickly as she can. I also think I forget if this is a thing. Is Coriolanus able to? He sends water right to her, but he doesn't get to pick where it goes. It just goes to her.
It flies and it's all the other kids or whatever.
I know, but I couldn't be like, hey, Coriolanus, I have a cool strategy. We're gonna just send water at all the other kids. And I'm going to run and hide in the corner, but like, don't send it to me, send it to them. And then watch them all get decapitated by the drones. I don't think that's an option. I wish there was a kid that had like Pickle Rick powers where they could use the broken pieces of drone and turn them into like a big chainsaw or something. You could do some cool shit.
That's cool.
That's what BD would be doing or whatever that character's name was. But yeah, I don't know. The other thing with this one is there is an alliance that does pretty well as a group for a while. I don't know if I'd join the alliance.
Well, you'd have to be invited in first, because remember they tell that one guy like, "Hey, come join us," but not your district partner because she sucks.
Yeah, that's true. And they also don't have the shit where they like have to do little talent show like skill test. And like you can prove your value by throwing the big weight. So that would be handy. Yeah, I don't know. Man, can you imagine if you got there and your mentor was real bad at it?
I mean, I feel like that's the experience of nearly everybody except for Lucy Gray in this one.
Yeah.
Just get all these bad mentors. Yeah.
I feel like, what you could do? You could work out a system with your mentor. This wouldn't make any sense, but some sort of system where they send water at specific times to give you information. I don't know. It'd be so hard to
Little
do.
Info dumps.
Yeah, just like they would say, like, there's kids in the northwest corner, and you send that if it's, I don't know, on the hour, but this wouldn't work. I'm just trying to think of like ways you could, because that would be how you'd win, is some sort of, I mean, honestly, if I could convince my guy to come in and kill some of the kids for me at night, that would be super helpful. But yeah, you know what? I think if I had Sejanus, I could trick him into doing something helpful.
Yes.
That would be good. Yeah, because I wouldn't make him fall in love with me. I'd just be like, man, we should do a revolution. If only I survived this Hunger Games, then I think I would love to do a revolution with whoever helps me. But I don't know if I'm going to make it through the night unless somebody just sneaks in and does some murders for me.
Please do some murders.
I would love to do big kisses on whoever saves my life.
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely don't think I do better at this Hunger Games than any of the other Hunger Games with more like shit going on.
Right.
Because this is more of especially if there isn't a bombing and it's just an arena, like you're just, like you said, it's going to be over in like 5 minutes. And I don't know if I'm going to be that lucky to survive.
Yeah. Then it's just a big battle royale. Like actually,
yeah,
it's a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and I don't think like nobody goes for like, you either have to go for a sword or like hang out in the back and just wait to get sorted. But like neither of those are ideal. I don't know. I'd also probably have like rabies from being bitten by a bat or something. That would be me. Be a real bummer.
You'd be the kid with. What if the rabies kid had won? Like, what if he went in a rabies rage and killed everyone?
A rage bee.
totally possible, especially if we're doing the short Hunger Games. His rabies symptoms took over after some time. Like, yeah, that would have made.
Would they have
complete
cured him
sense.
of his rabies, or would he have just died of rabies?
Well, they have to go on like that district tour where they do little
Well,
speeches
but
and
that
stuff.
doesn't exist yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So probably not. They probably wouldn't have cured
Like,
him.
I don't think Lucy Gray is even supposed to get money in this one. She says Dean Highsmith gives her some, but I think that was just a thing he did.
Yeah, I
Right.
think you're right.
I think your prize for winning the Hunger Games at this point is you get to live.
yeah, and
What
doesn't
an
your
honor.
district get extra food or something like that? Is that part
I
of
don't
it?
think so. No,
Yeah.
I think in this one it's literally just you get to live.
And you get like it probably helps your, bookings if you're a musical act. You could probably get more money from that one barn
You get to
because
talk
you're
about
popular.
being
Yeah.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, you should probably write a book or something. I don't know what you could do. We could do stuff though. We could turn that into something. Do you guys think they're gonna get a sequel to this? I think it kind of made money. Speaking of wokeness, I think it did like okay.
But what is a sequel? Like,
Yeah, there's only the one book.
Just like any of the other Hunger Games that we know happened, like the Woody Harrelson one, Woody Harrelson's Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
The thing we talked about last time, where
Yeah.
it was like all the different Hunger Games movies you could make, like the what do you call it, the Morphling one, where they just
Mhm.
hide.
Yeah, I feel like any of those would be pretty cool. You could also do like a far future one where Hunger Games starts again or something, and Katniss's kid has to like. I guess like, is there room for any more of these?
I mean, like maybe there's an appetite, but I think we're getting to the point where it has become creatively bankrupt. So, what is one to do?
Yeah. Have we? I didn't look this up, but I wonder if there's any expectation that they're gonna make more of these. Like she's gonna make more books.
Like if Suzanne Collins is going to write any.
Yeah, and then like that will be the next planned thing. Because yeah, I don't see. There's a play that's going to debut in 2024
Dear God.
in London.
Is it new content, or is it
No, it's
just
the
an
Hunger
adaptation?
Games.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the original one. There are no confirmed new Hunger Games books being announced. So
Well,
and
now
new
do we
Hunger
get
Games
into the-
movies won't be made without more books.
Oh, we can't get
Yeah.
the screenwriters in there and be like, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's get DB, Benioff, and Weiss back. They need
Yeah,
another
they've
crack at
proven
it.
themselves so competent at this.
I mean, they did
Yeah.
it with the goddamn Harry Potter. Like, that was just like a fake book
That's
that they
true.
were going
They
to make
did just
5
make-
movies off of.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We like those, right?
Uh-huh.
Remember Poppy Vandertooch or whatever? Somebody posted that today.
Love Poppy Van
That
Touch.
that poster that was like Finda is Poppy Vandertooch, and that was a character in one of them. You were like, "What? That was
Poppy Corby-Tooch is Vinda.
Yeah, remember that? That was
How
pretty.
could I
awesome.
ever forget, Nando?
I just did, and it blew my mind that I did.
Yeah, but you also forgot Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, aka the Rumble.
Yeah,
How
you
dare
monster.
you?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that character again. They went on a really big bit, by the way. I don't know if you guys watched Last Week Tonight, but he spent a lot of time 2 or 3 weeks ago on Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, aka the Rumble, in one of his bits.
Did he really?
Really?
Yeah, he did. And I was like, man, way to get on board, late on the game again,
or
John.
confirmed, John Oliver listens to Mostly Nitpicking. Hello, John.
Oh,
Hi, John. Hello, John. Whatever is going on with you, let's tell him some things to make little things about. What's like an
Ooh,
injustice
yeah.
that you don't think about that often, like traffic lights or something.
Shortage of Stelladoros at my local ShopRite.
What's Delladoros?
They're the little Italian cookies with the chocolate in the middle. Do you
Sounds
not
like-
know what these are?
No,
I know what they are now that you've said that. I've never heard them called that.
Oh, so they're like Milanos, but different.
Well, all right. Sorry. Stelladoro is like a brand that they make a bunch of different Italian cookies. The ones I'm referring to are the Swiss fudge cookies. They're like a circular cookie. It looks like a flower with a chocolate center.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I've always just called them Italian cookies.
I've never had these. They look fine.
They're amazing. I'll kill
Well,
you. They're
apparently.
so good.
Nando,
They're-
you grew
they're-
up in New Jersey as much as the rest of us. How have you never had
Yeah.
these?
Right? We had different cookies at home. We had We had the whatchamacallums, the Pepperidge Farms, delicious Pepperidge Farm.
This is not an everyday cookie. This is like a dessert at a holiday party cookie.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what it is, and it seems like it's an Italian thing. And I had plenty of Italian friends growing up, but we shamed them, so they were afraid of their Italian heritage. So.
As they should be.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's probably what it was.
None of us are Italian, right?
Nah.
I'm married to an Italian.
Well, that doesn't make you Italian, though, does it?
No, I'm just saying, I'm just telling a story.
They love to put the Italian flags on this cookie box. They're like,
they need you to know.
Yeah, they really do. Like they're selling this on the love of Italy. Yeah. I mean, so you want him to do a thing about how this is like
At my shop, right, I can't get them. There's usually a shortage, and I think it's problematic.
maybe there'd be a thing about that shortages of food in general because of like companies being, like greedy or something.
Okay.
Because I do feel like I see that
he's
every
working
so
on
often.
those.
Yeah, shrinkflation.
Yeah,
maybe.
how those egg companies recently got convicted for driving up the price of eggs.
He did one on that. Yeah, that was good. Not on the conviction that just happened, but on a lot of the other stuff that came out before the conviction itself. Yeah, he did a bit about Air Bud not too long ago. That was pretty good. So that's cool. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. What do you guys
Take a
want
bit
him to
on
talk
Israel.
about in reference to the show?
What do I want John Oliver to talk about?
Yeah.
What's like a weird little injustice that I hate? I don't know if he's ever done one on this, and I don't know how you would ever prove it. Not like how you would prove it, but I don't know how it would work on his show. But I forget what the idea is. It's like hostile customer service or something, where like phone menus are designed to make you not go through with them so that they don't have to deal with people on complaints and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, as a former customer service representative, I can't in good conscience speak against anything that separates those poor people from customers.
That's right. And like, yeah, it's a tough one, but we'll find out, I guess. Soon. What about you, Diggins? Do you have a thing?
I want him to do a thing about how grocery delivery companies have stopped taking back their reusable plastic bags. So now if you want to use them, you just have to have an ever-growing collection of plastic bags.
It's so true.
Oh, really? They don't take them? Why didn't they? Did they used to take them back?
Yeah, they used to take them back. Then the pandemic happened, and they were like, oh, we don't know if it's safe to take back these plastic bags, so we're not going to take them back for now. And then, I don't know, I guess it was cheaper to just never take them back, so they never reinstituted it.
That is the answer to so many COVID things about how it was like, oh, we can't do it because of COVID, but now it's like, we just don't want to do it. Like,
yeah.
We're upset that at one point we did do it.
That's the one thing I want him to do. Something about companies being like, working from home, that's not a good idea.
Ooh,
you guys
that's a
come back
good
to the
one.
office because it's just so stupid. Yeah.
That's a really good one.
That would be, I bet he would have something on that too. He honestly might have done it. Everything that it is, like all of these things, I'm like, either that's one that happened or one that I imagined in a dream or something.
Yeah.
Because he's been going for like 9 years or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's been so long. There's that poster where he's old now. And it's like, remember me? Used to be young. Now I'm old. They should do that with all shows. Every show, once you get to season 9, has to have a poster with young actor and then old actor now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Hunger Games.
We did it.
We did it. We're done with Hunger Games probably for the rest of time, unless we want to do the play. If it makes
if we want to fly to London and see the play,
That'd be an amazing.
We've flown to London for weirder things, some of us.
for the
2/3 of the pod.
Yeah.
And also for the first time cover a play, a thing we've never done before.
That's right. We'll see if the people wanna, if somebody wants to sponsor the podcast London trip, maybe it'll be like a little Rugrats in Paris kind of adventure where we go to Paris and do a Godzilla or something. Remember that?
Yeah,
I do remember.
It ends with a Godzilla. It's pretty cool.
They're in a big robot reptar who has to fight a big robot snail.
Yep. So if anybody wants to get us those, that'd be pretty cool.
So that they could stop Chucky's dad from getting married.
That's right, to the evil lady. Yeah.
The evil French lady.
Mm-hmm. Instead of the nice lady who, what was her? Why was she even there?
She was the assistant to the evil French lady.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one was good. But you guys, we should probably get to our classic segment.
I have a quick thing before our classic segment. It's not Hunger Games related or classic segment related, but I have some breaking news that has happened between the starting of this recording and now, because football has happened in between.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Someone has won our eliminator pool.
Wow. A thing you told me
Incredible.
didn't happen.
Well, it was riding on a certain football game that has since completed since we started. So
Yeah.
because that football game completed, now we have a winner.
Very cool.
Now
And we don't know who it is because
because ESPN sucks. Whoever picked the Ravens this week, just send like a screenshot of your thing and message us on Discord or X or whatever. Just find us. You know, we believe in you, and tell us which movie you'd like us to do. Entourage, right? Entourage. Also, congratulations to this person, because there are 100 entries in this. They are literally the 1%. So
Wow.
the 1% wins again.
They're like Sejanus and Coriolanus and all the other Anus boys.
I bet whoever won is cooler than Anus Boy. So to whoever you are, please reach out to Nando Diggins or I or the podcast or whatever, and let us know that you won and tell us what movie you would like us to complete. Congratulations to that winner. Made it 12 weeks, so pretty good.
Yeah, that's a lot. I can't believe how long this one lasted.
Yeah, this one lasted a really long time.
Another thing that has been going on this whole time, or not has been going on this whole time, but is just happened in the last 5 minutes. And thank you everybody for sending us the little Spotify Wrapped thing.
Yes.
I'm trying to find whoever has the most percentage. Whoever's the highest.
I saw 2.
I do. Yeah. Manolo, I think, is the 2% for now. I want to say I saw another one, and maybe it was on like Instagram or something, because I get these tagged a bunch of different places. But I am looking.
You're gonna find the other 1%, the 1%ers.
I mean, they have to exist, right? And they use Spotify, so it does tell you.
They're the only real people, the only ones who actually matter.
And like, you know, I would imagine maybe if you're like in the top 0.001%, you're too embarrassed to, you know, broadcast that information to the world. So, you know, tell us and we'll keep your anonymity a secret. But yeah, so thank you to everybody for those. And speaking of things for people to watch or listen to, do you guys have anything to recommend to the fine people?
Right, exactly. So I'd like to recommend a video game. I played over the Thanksgiving weekend. I played a game that came out. It's a remake of a game, like one of my favorite games ever. And this is a little game called Super Mario RPG.
That's out. I forgot about that.
It is out for the Switch. It's a remake of like the thing in 94 or 5, some in the 90s. And I love that game growing up so much. I played it so many times. They basically did like a 1-for-1 port, and it's like, so for me recommending it, I love it. I think it's great. 10 out of 10. I would recommend, if you like RPGs, playing this game. You know, some complaints are, they didn't really change anything. They just kind of updated the graphics and it's all basically the same, which, like, from my perspective, great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I just really enjoyed it. So it's like, I don't know what I would say to the youngins. It's like Paper Mario, I guess, is like the closest analog.
It's the proto Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Diggins. That's a good way to put it. So yeah, it's the proto Paper Mario. It's a little RPG style Mario game. You got Mario, you got Peach, you got Bowser inexplicably. You got everyone's favorite, Gino. Who doesn't love Gino?
Yeah,
the guy everyone wanted to be in Smash and never was.
Was he not even an assist trophy? Man, they gotta get it
I
together.
think
He might have been, yeah.
He got like an assist trophy or a sticker or something. He was in there a little bit.
Yeah,
but everyone
that
wanted
might
him to
be
be
it.
playable, and he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead, they need to get him into those Fire Emblem games. That was what they really ended up
Yeah, that's the secret sauce.
How big of a sword could he hold? Pretty big.
It's like at least 3 feet. Yeah. No. Yeah. So anyway, it's out for the Switch. I really think it's fantastic. I'm loving it. If you're a fan of RPGs, I'm sure you'll love it. If you played the original, big nostalgia feel. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. So that is my recommendation. Diggins, how about you?
I've watched a bunch of movies since we last recorded, so I'm just going to quickly run through a few of them that I really liked. One is The Holdovers.
Cool.
Yeah, this is that movie with Paul Giamatti, where he's a professor at like a prep school, slash boarding school in 1970, and he has to stay over the winter holiday because one of the other students doesn't have anywhere to go. So they end up spending time together, and he's like a curmudgeon that nobody likes, and so they don't get along at first, but then they having to spend a lot of time together, they they grow closer and discover things about themselves. I made this sound sexual. It's not.
Mhm.
Nice.
I think if you watch the trailers, they make it look really saccharine in a way that was not super appealing to me, but it's honestly, and if you are familiar with Alexander Payne's work, you probably saw this coming. It's honestly a much more melancholy than that in a way that I really enjoyed. So yeah, that is a great movie. I also saw Dream Scenario, the new Nick Cage movie.
Ooh.
The one where he's a college professor, not a boarding school professor. But he's like a kind of dinky regular Joe college professor, but for some reason a large portion of the population starts dreaming about him every night. Like he's just in their dreams. And it's sort of this phenomenon slowly gets realized, and it becomes a whole big thing. And this is also a movie that wasn't quite what I expected. I was expecting something kind of like wacky and whimsical, and this is more of a what's the right word for it? It's more of like a satire on fame, I suppose. But still in a very kind of like strange way that I really enjoyed. Nick Cage is so funny. Like he's really committed to his performance as your dad.
Nice. Are there any scenes where you're like, they probably told him he wasn't fighting a spider in this one? But I wonder if they made that happen afterward, the fact or not.
In every scene he was in, I was like, they probably told him he wasn't fighting a spider.
That's good to know. Man, yeah, he probably has to ask that every scene now. It's like, guys, not a spider scene, right? I've been burned before. I'm not going to have that again.
Do you think he actually knows that story, or was this totally inexplicable to him?
He must, because it was in the script, right? Or something. Like, I feel like, listen, he's Nicolas Cage. Like, maybe he doesn't know it, or maybe he has a big picture of the spider tattooed on his back. Like, it's one or the other. He has a real Thanagarian snare beast or whatever in his basement. You never know.
Also, to be fair to him about the script thing, like studios are real tight-lipped about these like big tentpole scripts these days to a frankly comical and actively harmful to the making of the movie degree. So considering all he had to do was like stand around for like 10 seconds, I'm pretty sure they never gave him a script.
Listen, while that is true, I feel like I saw a leak that this was going to happen like at least a month before the movie came out. So if I'm Nicolas Cage, I feel like I want somebody to be like, oh, you should probably call them and see if you're fighting a spider in this movie. And then you just check just in case. But maybe they lied. Maybe they were like, no, why would we would never do that. So,
anyway, one other movie I saw is Priscilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sofia Coppola movie about Elvis's wife, Priscilla Presley.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is the anti Baz Luhrmann's Elvis in nearly every way. It's shorter, although actually it's still a fairly long movie. It's like 2 hours. But where Baz Luhrmann's Elvis is bombastic and over the top because it's Baz Luhrmann, but in a way that was like not fun or interesting.
Yeah.
This one is much more subdued and minimalist, and also I think much more honest about Elvis as a person, even though it's about Priscilla. And it does keep its focus on Priscilla, but of course her relationship with Elvis was a huge part of her life. And it's only about that part of her life. It's not one of those biopics that tries to do the whole life and ends up being a mess.
Is Colonel Tom Parker in it?
He never physically shows up, but he is mentioned.
Damn.
And he is an important part of one scene in a way that I might write something about this because I think it does the whole Colonel Tom Parker thing better in that one scene than the entire Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie does.
Yeah. Is it the scene where they all go, he's white? But off screen, you hear someone else say, he's white. what? Yippee-ki-yay, a what,
Damn
man?
right. Damn
That's
white.
right. How did you know?
I don't know. Sometimes you could just get a sense for these. You watch the trailer and you're like, that's probably how they're going to do it.
Yeah, well, you nailed it, Nando. But yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed that movie too. I think it is a great corrective to that other Elvis movie I don't like, and also a great movie on its own. About this sort of it's like every other musical biopic where they kind of show you that the relationship they have with their significant other is unhealthy or abusive for like a scene.
Yeah.
But it's the significant other's perspective, so you see how it grew and was there from the beginning and grew and became worse over time instead of just being there for a scene.
I was wondering because I know that in this movie Elvis is played by Euphoria's Jacob Elordi.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not like a coincidence because I'm sure these guys go out for a lot of the same parts. In one of my fan casting videos, I think I said that Jacob Elordi should be Gambit in the X-Men movies, but Austin Butler was my second choice. Which one of them would you say, after seeing them both do Elvis, has the juice? Who's the guy?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Nando. Indistinguishable performances.
Interesting.
As
Wow.
much as Austin Butler was ballyhooed, Oscar noms, etc., for being like, wow, he really inhabited Butler. He was possessed by the ghost of Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
So much has he become Elvis in this movie. I saw Jacob Elordi in this movie, and I was like, yeah, he did it about as well.
Yeah, there's a reason this is the most impersonated character on planet Earth, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when they make the Christopher Walken biopic, you'd be like, wow, they're all great at this. Incredible.
But yeah, those are my recs for this week. What about you, Nando?
I also watched a bunch of things. A lot of mine were TV shows. So a bunch of shows either came back or they caught my attention again. I guess at least two. I feel like I haven't watched more Taskmaster because that's the rules, but three. It is three. Okay. So first one, For All Mankind is back. I think I talked about that last week, but it's
And you remembered
still
it
wild.
again.
Yeah, it's true. Something about it. There's more mankind in it, so I'm remembering that part more.
Less for all.
Yeah. It's mostly, and listen, yeah, we'll get to it, but this one, somebody said a thing because I was kind of like, what is this season going to be about? And somebody says a thing and I'm like, ooh, we're doing this. And we'll see if that plays out, but it's pretty weird. But the two new shows that I got into for the first time, I watched the Godzilla show. I think it's called like Monarch Legacy of Monsters or something like that. It's on Apple TV and it's about like, it's a lot of stuff, but it's basically, there's a woman whose father died around the time that the Godzilla 2014 movie happened. It's not clear how related to that it was, but it's like at least a little related. And she goes to, but like, that's not why she goes to visit his house in Japan or whatever, but she does go there and then she learns things about her father. And then, so we see her stuff, but then also there's a lot of flashbacks to like the 50s where her and his mom, her dad, her grandmother, and then another guy are like doing monarch stuff. So it's this big conspiracy. The big kind of selling point, besides the fact that it's like a movie set in the Godzilla verse with some Godzilla monsters, but not like Godzilla himself and the rest of them, or herself, depending on which one you're watching. It has Wyatt Russell playing the guy in the 50s and then Kurt Russell playing him in the now. So that's kind of interesting. But overall, I think it's a very well-made show. And I think that like it gets at a lot of interesting like drama of a Godzilla that I don't think we ever have time with in these movies, especially because like there's a new one coming out, which there's a trailer for. And it just made me remember how stupid that last one was with like the hollow earth and that little car that flew around for, the ride at the Universal theme park. I'm sure they imagined if this was a big hit. But like this one, there's like a bomb shelter that everybody goes to when they think there's a Godzilla thing and people have little panic attacks and stuff. It's interesting. So I would recommend it. There's like 3 or 4 episodes out now and we really flew through them. The other show that's back, which is a show that I really used to love and I kind of fell off after season 3, is Fargo, which is God, where is that show? Does anybody know? I can't remember. It's on one of the streaming services.
No idea.
Maybe FX.
Paramount?
I don't have Paramount, so not that one. I think it's an FX show, so I think that means it's on Hulu. But either way, for people that don't know, it is like, yeah, it's Hulu. It's an actual anthology show. Like, it's kind of like what, shows like Stranger Things are supposed to be. But it's also like we have those anthologies that are like the Ryan Murphy ones, like American Horror Story, except they're all the same actors and it's kind of like the same thing. This is like a really new story, but it's got and they're not all even set in Fargo. In fact, I don't know if any of them are, but they're all kind of the same vibe as Fargo, where it's like a weird murder or something, and a regular person is thrust into a crazy world. But you see like a scene starts, and in any other show you'd be like, oh my god, this person's gonna get killed, but because it's a Fargo thing, you're like, they're gonna kill the killers or something by accident, and that's gonna cause a whole bunch of stuff. The main character is played by Juno Temple this season from Keeley from Ted Lasso, and she's very good. And then the other main character, I mean, there's a couple of other people that people might recognize, but the main one in the advertising is John Hamm, plays this like elected sheriff of a town that's also probably a cult in the middle of nowhere, and he's so funny. And not like funny. I hate
when that happens to me.
Yeah, he's great. Like, I would recommend, like, just like there's one scene with him. He's funny because he's a bad guy, but he's also just like such a little weirdo. And it's the second time this year I've watched a show where I've seen John Hamm's butt in a time where it's definitely not supposed to be like a sexy and it's more of a like, this guy's a little weirdo. I don't know if like his agent or whatever was like, you gotta get that butt out there right now, this is the time. But in Good Omens and in this, it's John Hamm butt. So those two things for sure, or those three shows are all pretty good. Like those, I'm having a pretty solid time with all of them. I honestly think, I watched a video. I watched a couple pretty good videos, but one, Patrick Williams made a new video called, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like, when did movie stars become brands? And it's about two specific Red Notice actors, and how they kind of have turned into tequila magnates and what that means for their, kind of the future of Hollywood. It's called When Movie Stars Become Brands.
I can't think of which Red Notice actors he could be talking about.
Oh, you can't. Well, it's actually, it's Red Notice stars, Christy Metopoulos and Jesus Christ Rita Araya. Ritu Araya. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's a big brand these days, huh?
I mean, and his tequila would be incredible. People would love it
because it starts as water, but then you
That's
drink it.
Right.
Like, it's become tequila.
Yeah, as opposed to like, Ryan Reynolds' tequila, that's just tequila. And you're like, or gin, that one's gin. That's not even tequila, but the Rock one is tequila. And you're like, this is tequila the whole time. Who even cares? The best part about it is that the Aviation Gin account has been responding to Patrick Williams, not in like a mean way, but in like we love the video. It's a great video and stuff. And it's weird. I don't know what's going on, but Aviation Gin, man, they're in on the joke, just like Ryan Reynolds himself. So that's fun. We're gonna get another Red Notice soon, probably, right? Sure, they're trying to make it up. I mean, it's their most watched movie ever. I've got it on.
According to them.
Yeah, according to them. They have that. There's that new movie where like Santa Claus is like an action hero or something called, I think, Red One. Which feels like a Red Notice, even though it doesn't have anything to do with. I don't think it's like part of the Red Notice universe, but
So this is distinct from the David Harbour one, Violent Night.
Yes, this is a different thing. This is closer to what was that one with God? It was the one where they were like little superheroes. Alec Baldwin played Santa Claus, and he was like a Russian guy.
Oh,
it was an animated movie.
The Last Guardians or something?
Yes, this seems closer to that. It says, so I'm on the IMDb page. It's called The Red One. IMDb says plot under wraps, but there's pictures of J.K. Simmons dressed as Santa Claus with like a lot of leather on, and The Rock with like a big outfit on. So I'm imagining The Rock is like a Secret Service agent that has to help Santa Claus do missions or something. I don't know. Also, Chris Evans is in it. So Everybody get hyped. If it's not going to come out this year, I don't know when it's going to come out. Like, kind of
Next
figure,
Christmas.
Is it next Christmas? Jesus, it's going to have to compete with Nosferatu, Jordan Peele movie, and Shadow the Hedgehog.
Or they'll realize it's bad and dump it in like June or something.
That's true. Maybe if they're brave, if they're really brave, they'll cancel it and we'll never have to watch it.
That's true. That takes the greatest courage of all.
Yeah. Oh man, maybe it'll be
braver, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be. It'll probably be the biggest hit ever or something. But you guys, yeah, and you know what? It's written by the guy who wrote Fast X, a movie that nobody liked, and Bird Box, and The Mummy. Remember that?
The Tom Cruise one?
Yeah, the Tom Cruise, of course, the Tom Cruise one.
Hell
Wait,
yeah.
this person didn't write. No, did they?
The
They
best
produced
one
The
I've
Mummy.
ever seen.
No, yeah, they didn't write The Mummy. In fact, they produced it. Although this person did write most of the Fast and Furious movies and 47 Ronin. He didn't produce 47 Ronin. Different guy, obviously, involved with that. But yeah, it's great. It's usually good when your writers have one writing credit, right? And it's the Young Rock Show.
Oh man.
Oh
man.
We'll see. But yeah, next week. What are we doing next week?
Wish?
Speaking of brands,
Question?
yeah, we got
Wish?
Wish. You guys excited for Wish?
No.
Okay, well, we're gonna do it anyway.
Sorry. It's gonna be
I've
honest.
already
Never
seen
stopped
it.
us before. Oh, right, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
You have
Diggins
seen
may
it.
have already told me what to think.
I might have too. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard things. Until then, do you guys have anything you want to plug?
Just saying Roses and Rejections. We're getting to the end of Golden Bachelor, so check that out.
Is it still not done?
Like the finale is like this whatever Thursday is closest to how you guys heard it, then yes, it's this Thursday.
Do you have a one that you think he's gonna pick?
So it's been funny. For those who've listened, I've been wrong every step of the way. So I think it's gonna be Leslie, which means it'll be Teresa. So
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Just much like in real life, wrong every step of the way.
Damn right.
Is there some sort of weird like left turn he can take and pick none of them or something? Does that ever happen?
Or pick both of them,
it could
and
be,
they
but
enter
I
a
just
polyamorous relationship.
Yeah.
well, that one no, but I don't see the picking no one.
You say
Okay.
no.
Mhm. They might say yes.
Yeah, hey, they're consenting adults. Whatever makes them happy.
They're mega adults too because they're in their like 70s. So they really like. I feel like that's when you start getting a little experimental, maybe.
Right.
Or not, who knows? So that's very exciting. Diggins, do you have anything to plug?
Nope. What about you, Nando?
I have videos. I cannot remember when we did this last time, and I don't know when this will come out. So more videos might be out. But my Booster Gold casting is on YouTube now, which is great if you've seen the new Rick and Morty episode. But I don't want to spoil it, so just watch the video. I also have a video that is on Nebula that right now that'll probably be on YouTube pretty soon. That's my Young Avengers pitch, which is great because Amon Vellani's been talking about Young Avengers a lot. So hopefully that makes everybody want to see it, even though I have no idea if that movie's coming out ever.
I have to admit, Nando, I was really surprised by your pitch that they should have a big team up against Paste Pop Pete.
I think it's Paste Pop. Well, I want two things. I want Paste Pop Pete, and I don't want any of the actual Kid Avengers. I want to do Muppet Babies where we like put little like Hawkeye's head on a little baby body or something, and it's like Young Avengers, but it's like they're little babies. And then Iman Vellani can be the mom that you never see anything but her like waist down. Not that that's their mother. I think. Oh, is that their mother or just like a caretaker?
I think it's they call her like Nanny or something.
Yeah, I guess it can't be their mother because Gonzo's. Well, no, Gonzo is not canonically an alien, but he's not whatever she is. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But so those are videos that are out now as we were recording this. There's a good chance that this will come out either at the same time or before my next video, which will be on Nebula, right when the other one goes on YouTube, when the Young Avengers one goes on YouTube. And that's my Who Should Replace Kang video. So in case they're going to do that, which it seems like they might do, what other characters could be the bad guy in one of these? Like Secret Wars or something, and it's pretty fun. I think I figured it out. Also, I'm not going to recommend this because I haven't watched it yet, but one of my favorite YouTubers, Leo Vader, just put out a video on Nebula called where is it? Could downsized Matt Damon defeat Ant-Man? And I bet that's great. I can't wait to watch it.
Nice.
Yeah, so all that stuff. Oh, and you know what else I should plug? I was in Owen Likes Comics did a video that was the like big, what are the comics that phase whatever of the DC movies are based on. So he did all the movies and went like this comic. And I was there for the Authority segment. And I'm glad for some reason I've become the main guy for that because I seem to be the only person that's read those books.
Would you say that when it comes to the Authority, you are the expert?
I am the I'm trying to think of a third one. Main guy. Yep, that's it. That's the word I'm looking for.
What about DJ? You want to throw a crack in on one of these?
Oh God, no.
I know which one I was looking for. Specialist. That's a good one. Maestro. Ooh, yes, please. Virtuoso. All good options. But yeah, I'm definitely that. Wizard, that one doesn't seem like it's what we mean. Well, I guess you could be like pinball wizard, like that's what they're going for.
Yeah, it's kind of an outdated thing, but people did used to say you're a wizard at blank to be like you're the best at it.
Yeah. What's the show or movie where someone uses wizard as like a cool, like that's wizard, man?
Oh my God, what was that?
What is that?
What is that?
Right? Wizard as slang. It's in something. Is it Harry Potter? No, this is Harry Potter fan fiction. Okay. I Googled that. Oh, it's in Star Wars.
No, that's not used that way. I think they called the Jedi wizards in The Mandalorian.
Okay, so according to this, in episode 1, Kitzer Ben-I remarks that Annie's inclusion in the Boot to Eve pod race is wizard Annie. It seems like it might be that.
Maybe. If
anybody has an answer. Also, people have tweeted us things. I forgot to say any of them. I should say at least one of them. Let me Google it because I know which one I'm looking for. Must have been on Instagram. Jesus Christ. I hate Instagram as an app. Basically, I got an answer about the Oklahoma question we asked, 5 episodes ago.
Good.
That was quite satisfying. It was basically, I don't remember exactly what it was, but the main thing I got from it was they do love Oklahoma in Oklahoma. Like they're thrilled.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. If you get to think about Oklahoma, they're like, that's awesome. I wish I could find this thing. Oh, it might be in general. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I found it. Okay. This is from Sean. It says
the sheep.
Yeah, perhaps. There's probably some sheep in Oklahoma. And he says he's been living there for at least a while. It's so into Oklahoma Broadway play. It's literally the fight song for the University of Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And University of Oklahoma is one of the 2 main universities in Oklahoma, and it's one of the winningest football programs in the history of college football. So, yeah. And he asked what people think of Oklahoma. And he says, it's okay. The weather is great for 3/4 of the year and an oven for 1 season. So I believe that. It does seem like one of those places just gets way too hot, but it's pretty, they got to play. So that's not bad. So whoever wants to tell us that wizard thing, maybe we'll read that.
More than a lot of states can say.
That's true. And, speaking of things that are hot, next week, Wish.
All right, cool.
The new hot movie that everyone already forgot about. Until then, I've been at Nando Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woo! Bye. We love you.